Welcome, everybody, to 2017 and the List Critics 2.
La List Critics 2.
And yes, Necrovino.
Wait, I shouldn't be using any Spanish. I'll get deported. The president don't like that shit.
Oh, we don't gotta get political, at least just yet.
Why not? Just a little bit.
All right, fine.
Oh, a band called Brujeria.
Nope.
They are a Mexican black metal band.
Nice.
And they just... my sister's texting me. What you doing? They just released a new album called Fuck You Puto.
Oh, no.
And there's a picture of Trump with like a nail through his head on it.
That's gonna go over well. I'm sure they'll get a lot of imports here.
Well, their main fandom is Mexico, so Mexico's not too happy with our president right now, I say.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna start as we always do. Tumblr gets deep.
Yeah, let's get deep.
Okay, so let's see. Gentle Antics. I haven't read this yet, so this is interesting. Gentle Antics says, I told a lady I liked... okay, let's try that again. I told a lady I really like ghosts, and she said, are you being serious, or are you just saying that in case one is listening? Whoa.
Ooh.
Yeah. This next
Good to think about.
Yeah, right. Sassy Gay Clavier Spieler says, cute music terms to name your children. I got a long-ass list of music terms you can name your children. Viola, harmony, melody, cadence, carol, hymn, celeste, clef, agitato, oboe player, F sharp, that little symbol that's like a box, barbato, plagal, smorzando, II sharp 6/4, and canon inversion and augmentation.
It gets more ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Psycho Linus replies with, well, that escalated quickly.
Yes. This is my son Pianissimo.
Yeah, Pianissimo. This is my daughter Allegro.
Allegra or Allegra.
Allegro's fucking medicine. All right. Chessis says concept me, but I'm the person I want to be, and I have abs. I see you there, Chessis. I see you.
That's very nice. Yeah, I see you there.
Laugh Until You Drop says, if mermaids exist, I hope they stay hidden because we're just going to end up killing them like we do everything else.
Or, science experiments until they're dead.
It'll be like, they'll be like a protected species, but like there'll be some country where mermaid meat is like a thing.
Oh, but that's weird because it's like half human, maybe?
Yeah, it's like half red meat and half fish.
So would they just cut the fish part?
Or maybe they eat that too. Maybe like different, like dark meat and light meat and chicken.
Well, tastes like chicken.
If you think about it, it's an all-in-one surf and turf thing.
Oh God, no!
Yeah. All right, laugh till you drop. Oh, that was that. Let's not read that again. Moist Chunky Slurp. I just want to say that's a fucking hilarious name. Yeah. Moist Chunky Slurp says a pair of black socks on eBay. New, casual, sexy, cute, elegant, slim fit, low cut, soft and hypoallergenic, comfy, natural, fashion, hot sell, extra small, medium, simple, chic, booties, feet, mittens, warm, foot cover, direct, on a seller, fast, cheap shipping, pair of dark, mysterious, black shade for you.
Socks. They're socks. It's like the people who put 1 billion hashtags in their YouTube videos.
That's what gets views. It's the algorithms and shit.
I guess, but ugh,
yeah.
It's just ugly.
I mean, what's funny is I put so many keywords in my tags, and sometimes I sneak in some really stupid ones.
Oh yeah?
Like
I just don't have time to go through it all.
Like sometimes like I'll put in like the name of the game. Well, no, you can't see the tags.
No,
they're not visible now. They used to be way back in the day, but tags are invisible now. But like I'll put in things like potato or like Trump or or just like random curse words like fuck ass or shit fuck.
In case people are happening to look for these very strange words.
Sorry about all the text noises, guys. It's my sister, and there's some drama going on, and Jesse's aware of it, but I don't really want to talk about it.
Drama.
I mean, I told you about it before
Yeah.
You know, I can't ignore my sister right now. Okay, Perfab says me sees velociraptors. Me. Those dogs are sharp, but they're still good.
All right.
You want to be like Chris Pratt in Jurassic World?
Still have yet to see that movie.
Oh, well, there you go. Well, when I get to the movie review feature, it's going to be one of them. So.
All right.
Which I don't know if you saw, but it's not in February. And I'm just saying it again in this video. It's in May. I know I did a video just about that pretty much, but hey, not everybody watches every video.
Hey, May.
Manga says, space pisses me off. The sun is too large, and black holes are too mysterious, and aliens are too sneaky.
Well, it's a final frontier, right?
Yeah.
Still a lot we need to know.
Chessie, again, this is the same person that posted the abs thing. And they said, me at the concept of living my life. I'll wait in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let somebody else figure that shit out.
Yeah, this is weird. Plastic Bag Vivo says, me and my friend, and they post this picture of like a purple smiley face and a yellow smiley face just smiling and looking at each other. And then it says, you and your friend, and it's like the same exact thing, but much more crudely drawn.
Oh, just... bleh.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't know.
Okay, so this one starts with Shower Thoughts Official says, when medication says do not operate heavy machinery, they're probably mainly referring to cars, but my mind always goes to forklift. And mine does too, to be honest. And Saunter Vaguely Downward replies with, it has honestly never occurred to me that this morning was about cars and not construction equipment.
I mean, cars, obviously, but I go from construction equipment downward.
Well, when you think heavy machinery, like nobody refers, like it doesn't say don't drive, it says don't operate heavy machinery. So obviously you're going to think of things like forklifts and cranes and shit, right?
Mm-hmm. Anything in a shop.
Yeah.
You know.
Rainier Cat says, if you wear cowboy clothes, are you ranch dressing?
I love it.
And Favorite replies with just a picture of a very disgusted-looking woman. Jackal Frost says, why do you like floral print so much? Because I'm not a person. Secretly, I'm just a mass of bees trying to blend in with the humans, unable to let go of my love of flowers.
Oh my god, I hope that never becomes true. They become sentient.
Yeah, right. Bitchbot, I'm pausing because that name is amazing.
Yeah.
Bitchbot says, I hate being older because now I have to bring my own crayons to restaurants.
Yes.
I'm sure those servers will give you some if you ask nicely.
Well, it's not like every restaurant has crayons, but I can understand.
Captain Swin says, I'm constantly torn between wanting to watch new shows, rewatching old shows, and attempting to have a life that doesn't revolve around shows.
That's kind of the opposite for me, because I recently got Netflix, and I'm just burying myself in it.
Well, that's not the opposite of you. That's you. That's the same thing. Like, do I want to watch something new? Do I want to rewatch something? Or do I want to try to have a life? No, I want to rewatch something.
Yeah, just watch all the things.
Sometimes I'll get the urge to rewatch something. Like, I'll be like, you know what? I could go through Breaking Bad again. Or, you know what? Luke Cage was really good. I should watch that again. And then I'm like, but I have all this shit I haven't seen.
Yeah, there's like a million original programs.
Bubble says, was Voldemort a virgin? Oh, starting with this shit. Frankie Nathaniel Jonas replies with, did you see him in Fifth Year? He wasn't a virgin.
Oh boy.
Let music set you free replies with, imagine being the chick to do the frick-frack with the Dark Lord Voldy.
The frick-frack?
And Caps Lock Apocalypse says, Tumblr.com, where we can discuss having sex with Voldemort, but we can't actually say the word sex.
Aha! Somebody addressed it.
Yeah, wait. It gets better. And then It's Easy to Remember says, doing the do with you-know-who.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. By the way, I always like to think that Voldemort never had sex because he probably didn't see the point to it. But then J.K. Rowling had to ruin it all by writing that horrible play.
Dun, dun, dun.
Harry Potter. If you're anybody out there's a Harry Potter fan and they're interested in seeing Cursed Child or getting the book, which is the screenplay in book form, just do yourself a favor. Don't. It's bad.
More like Harry Potter and the Cursed storyline, am I right?
More like Harry Potter and the fan fiction.
Ooh.
But Fantastic Beasts was amazing, so the series is continuing in a good direction, but that play was a joke.
That play, though, it's there.
I know, yeah. Dutchster says, I want to do a flash mob with tons of puppies, but they'll probably forget every single move, and I'll try to get angry with them, but they're just all so damn adorable.
Oh, with that many puppies, you just lose yourself in the cute.
There you go. Asian says, first I just point out that there's somebody out there that just has the Tumblr name Asian. It seems like they must have been like one of the first few Tumblrs, you know?
Yeah, get on ya, yeah.
Perks of dating me. I don't go anywhere, so we can always hang out. I'm too ugly to cheat on you. Sometimes I'm funny, and I live near a pizza restaurant. Well,
That last
shit.
one, there's a perk.
Sign me up, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they may not be all that attractive, but they, you know, they're always going to be available. They, you know, and they ain't going to cheat on you. And pizza.
I may be ugly, but at least I got no money.
I thought you might say that.
Yeah.
Tom Kirk says, my life is just a collection of poorly made decisions with alternative music playing in the background.
Sounds like a trailer for some tween movie.
Yeah, pretty much. or some like angsty 90s comedy drama hybrid that's just terrible, but everybody likes it because they saw it when they were a kid and they think it's good.
Yeah, the nostalgia outweighs the bad.
Yeah. Finri says, who wants to get a match... Okay. Wow, okay. Who wants to get matching nipple piercings with me? But not two nipple piercings. I mean one for each of us on corresponding nips. But they'll be magnetic, so whenever we hug, they'll cinch together and remind us of our impenetrable, unbreakable bond of friendship.
What?
That's a friendship level that I have never reached with anybody.
Yeah, I still have to accumulate enough experience points to reach that level.
Tylenold says, it's not your or your, it's all mine. Everything is mine.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's clever. And this last one I have seen before, but it's me, who's a good boy? Dog. And there's like 50 question marks. Me, you're a good boy? Dog. And like 100 or 200 exclamation points. You know, dogs really only have two thoughts, and they can be expressed as question mark or exclamation points, and that makes sense to me.
It's like, who is a good boy? No, who really is? Who? Tell me now.
Oh, shit, it's me! Okay, out of 21, you know what? The number 18 is jumping out in my head. What number is jumping out into your head?
Once you hit the good boy one, I was like, 18.
Yeah,
So we're on board.
It just seems to be that number, right?
18,
18, legal everywhere.
Oh.
Okay, Twitter joke. 15 Twitter jokes everyone should read. Brandon at Untruster says, dads are like boomerangs, I hope. Oh.
Oh, no. They leave, but hopefully they come back.
Oh, that's rough, dude.
Ugh.
Growly Grigo at Growly Grigo says, hey, nice try, people named Tristan, or should I say Stan? Oh, like try
Stan.
Oh, well, that doesn't really work. Doesn't really work when you say it out loud, because you know it's Tristan. Yeah. Stephen W. Skinner at Skinner Steven says, hipster cop into radio. We got a 1388 in progress. It's a pretty rare crime. You probably wouldn't know it.
Ah, yes, the classic hipster beam.
That probably is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Sauce at Trojan Sauce says, Daniel Radcliffe's family were just known as the Cliffs until his great-grandfather invented the kickflip. Okay.
He's pretty rad now.
I see you there, Tom Sauce. I didn't laugh, but I did smile.
Yeah, I get you.
Cat Demon at Corn on the Goblin says, at the vet with my cat. Cat, meow. Me. I know. That's why I brought you here.
It's like whenever a pet owner has an animal, they can suddenly speak their pet's language.
Seems to be that way, right? Especially cat owners. Cat owners are especially guilty of this.
When you have a chatty cat, which I had in the past, you're like, meow, I know. Meow. Oh, don't be like that. Meow.
Tell me about it.
Oh, Jesus. Again?
Yeah, tell me about it. Felipe, you at...
You okay?
Look, man. Iujvidin. How would you pronounce it?
Maybe say the letters at this point.
Yeah, exactly. At Phil Yuck says, my name's Felipe and I like to rap. I'm still a beginner and I like to rap.
Aw, that's that. You can tell your mother that.
You know what? That's like Colin Mockery level right there.
Yeah, during like a
The hoedown
or
yeah,
something.
because he's so bad at it. Like, he's good at a lot of things, that he always was terrible at the hoedown.
Which made it even better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Abby Yup at Abby Cohen WL says, she. But why are you breaking up with me? Please tell me honestly. He. Okay, it's your signature sex move. She. Judgmental Corpse? We had that one on List Critics not too long ago.
Yeah, that sounds familiar.
That is a repost. All right, I'm remembering Payton's reaction. He's like, oh, it's the worst one of all. Derek at Urdirk says, Alien, take me to your leader. Me, I'm the leader. Alien, oh, chill. Anyway, me, why didn't you think I was the leader? Alien, no. Me, why?
You don't look like leader material, sir.
You know, if you're meeting an alien, don't make it awkward, please. You know, don't make it weird.
Yeah, it's already weird enough as it is.
Bibgee at Mike Big B says, me, my dog ate my homework. Teacher at my dog food culinary school. That is good.
Aha!
Dog food culinary school. Come on.
Because such a thing... Wait, if Hamburger University exists, you never know.
Is there a Hamburger University?
That's what they call it.
What is Hamburger University? Wait, Googling.
It's at McDonald's.
What? It's in a basement of a McDonald's?
There you go. Hamburger University.
Why? Why is that a thing?
I don't know. I didn't make it.
All right.
It's just a silly ass name for it.
The Google reviews for this are amazing.
Oh yeah?
I just want to read the 3 that are on the top. This person says, "Yum, I love me some fluff chicken." The second one is, "They fed us worms and made us live cramped in the basement for days without food."
Oh my god.
I mean, well, you had the worms. And the third one is, "After 3 years of studying the key ingredients to each meal." And that's the whole review.
Just ends.
Yeah.
Weird.
I think people are posting joke reviews, obviously, but Hamburger University, who knew? I guess.
Yep.
Jesse. Kim Monty at Kimmy Monty says, originally Greece was just a bunch of separate countries that were each named Grus. Oh.
Wop wop.
Alexa, the Wooden Slurpee says, walks into high school reunion with 6-foot-tall sack of flour. I've seen this one. I took the assignment seriously. Anyway, this is Max, my son.
I think that does sound familiar.
It was on List Critics too.
Yeah.
Guys, fucking pleated jeans. Stop so many reposts. Tara Shu at Tara Shu says, birds can make their homes in tall treetops and soar at great heights, and pigeons are like, no thank you, I will commute by foot to Home Depot. That is also a repost. But at least that one's not recent. That's from a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, freaking pigeons.
Jesse at Nick Cage Match says, yes, you can lead a horse to water, but you can also bring the water to him. Maybe do something nice for someone else for once in your life.
That's good.
I actually like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Jason Miller at Longwall26 says, no thanks, mood rings. I have a face.
I have a face?
Well, that is what you would look at if you want to know what kind of mood someone is in, right? Why do we need mood rings when we have faces?
It's like, no, I'm in a good mood, but the ring is red. That means you're angry.
It means your hand is hot. You know, like that's what it means. Yeah. And finally, Peace at Peacezilla says, the weatherman says it's nice outside. I guess they don't let him watch the rest of the news. Oh, that's clever.
So,
it's not funny, but it is clever.
That's a thinker. It's a thinker.
Out of 15, I'm on 8.
8. Ooh.
8. It was
gonna
half
be a little
funny.
I was going to be a little more generous with a 12.
Okay. I thought like half of them were funny. Okay. I got one here. This is also from Pleated Jeans, and I just saw it, and I thought this is up our alley. It's 14 shower thoughts about sleep.
That's very specific.
Well, shower thoughts are the best thoughts.
They get very weird.
Yeah, but in a good way, you know?
Yes, yes.
Let's see. This first one is, considering the thousands of times I've done it, I still don't know where to put my arms when I go to sleep. I can relate to that. It's
even worse if you're, like, sleeping, like, beside somebody,
Oh my God. Because then you got to worry not about your own arms, but what they're doing with their arms.
Or if you're spooning, what do you do with the other arm?
Yeah, because if it's under them, it's comfortable for a little while, and then you're gonna wake up and it's gonna be completely numb.
You'll be blue.
Mm. Okay. Sorry, I was just taking a sip of coffee.
Mm.
Death is the way of your body saying, "Here's your fucking sleep you wanted. Enjoy."
Oh my God. That's one angry body.
Well, if that's what death's like, ain't so bad, right?
Yeah. Sleep is pretty good. I know people that get excited for sleep.
I get excited for sleep.
Yeah, like,
because
I can't wait.
I don't get to do a whole lot of it.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know how much I slept yesterday?
No.
About 2 hours.
Oh my God.
Well, I had just fallen asleep, and somebody called me on the phone with some bad news, as I told you earlier. And then I was stressed out and upset, and I couldn't go to sleep. And guys, if you want to know about it, I don't want to talk about it on the show. Hit me up, and I'll tell you. It's not the worst thing ever, but it sucks.
Maybe you should have some more coffee.
I am. Coffee is one thing that does make me happy. What if the monster under your bed sees you as the monster on top of the bed and is so terrified he keeps as still and quiet as possible?
Yeah, and just when he's about to escape, you get scared, which scares him. Oh boy.
It's like Monsters, Inc. then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the image they use is Little Monsters, but it sounds more like Monsters, Inc.
Yeah, Little Monsters, once you get into that movie, it gets kind of weird.
I gotta say that, like, I know, like, did you watch it when you were a kid or when you were an adult?
Both.
Okay, but when you saw it as a kid, did you try the peanut butter and onion sandwich?
No, because I didn't like onions then either.
That's right. Well, I did, and you know what? It ain't that bad.
Well, you keep it.
And my friend Frank, who might be watching, I don't know, but he also tried it and liked it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It doesn't sound like it would be good at all, but I was like, you know what? Fucking Fred Savage ate it, and it didn't look like he was trying to throw up right after the take, so let me give it a shot, I think we should all take a moment and be grateful our bodies don't shit while we're asleep.
Well,
I mean, it can if you're really, like, drunk or sick, but generally speaking, it doesn't really happen.
Incontinent?
Yeah, but that's something wrong with your body.
Yes.
I can fall asleep perfectly fine in a bright, noisy classroom, but when I go to bed too early, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
That's weird, yeah. I wish we had the ability to dream together with other people, like multiplayer dreaming.
I don't think I'd like that very much. Depends. What if other people are dreaming weird shit?
Like, what if they're dreaming about me naked and I don't want to be naked with that person?
Yeah, does that mean you end up being naked, or you're seeing another you naked?
Neither of those things seem like I would want that,
No. So it's all bad.
Yeah. By the way, I've never had a naked dream. I've had sex dreams, but I've never had, like, one of those, like, you're in school naked kind of dreams,
Oh, no, I'm late for my, something.
And then you realize you have no clothes on or something like that. I've never had that dream. If I really wanted to test a mattress, I'd lie on my side and look at my phone. Well, why not do that to test the mattress?
Yeah, just do it.
Sure, the store doesn't care what position you're in when you're testing the mattress?
Yeah, they have it set up so that you can put your legs down and your shoes won't get the bed dirty and shit.
Yeah. I like this one. It says, you see mattress shops everywhere, but when's the last time you bought a mattress? I have no idea how they stay open.
That's true.
I mean, it's probably because mattresses are so fucking expensive that if they sell like one a month, it probably covers all their costs.
Yeah, it's like they get one big swoop in.
Yeah.
And then they're good.
A pillow is just a tiny mattress for your head.
Yeah.
Or in my case, for whatever part of my body I feel like resting on the pillow.
Yeah, if you're the type that has 5 or 6 pillows on the bed.
I only have 2 pillows. I have a giant normal, like, pillow. It's actually a couch pillow, but I really like it.
Ah, yeah.
And I have a body pillow. And what I usually do is I actually fold the body pillow over and put my head on that.
Oh.
Cooler to the skin. And the huge pillow, I just kind of like spoon with it.
Oh. I just have a small pillow for my head, and that's it.
Nah, man, that ain't enough. I can't fucks with that. If you have a wet dream, your underwear becomes a dream catcher. That's not a shower thought. That should have been on Twitter jokes, man. You got to post that shit on Twitter.
That is good stuff right there. Ew.
Gross.
Ugh.
I don't think I've ever had a wet dream.
Oh, no?
I mean, I've had dreams about sex, and I wake up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we got to finish that off. But
Fuck.
never, like, just came while I was sleeping. I can't imagine that. Sleep is great because it's like being dead without hurting your family.
Oh,
Wow.
my. That's a little morbid.
That's more positive than the other death one.
Yeah, I guess, but
Yeah.
still.
If I die in my sleep, people will say, at least he died doing something he loved.
Yes.
We should all be so lucky to go in our sleep.
Yeah, I know.
Sleep is like a 33% tax on life. It's 33% of your life that you don't get to experience. If you live to be 90 years old, you only really experience 60 of those years because you spend the other 30 years sleeping. Okay, you know what? You should have ended that at just sleep is like a 33% tax on life.
Yeah, finish the joke.
Because
Boom.
you don't not experience sleep. What the fuck do you think dreams are?
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the term sleep like a baby makes no sense. Babies are terrible at sleeping. They keep waking up.
That's true.
It is true because babies, they do, well, when they're newborns, they do sleep a lot, but not consecutively.
Yeah, when they wake up hard.
They wake up and they want something. And
They're not going to tell you.
The only way that they can communicate is screaming.
Because they just don't know how else to communicate.
And, I mean, you can't blame them because, I mean, if you didn't have language or gestures or anything or, you know, barely self-awareness, what are you going to do?
All you have is yelling and flailing around.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, out of 14, I liked most of them. I'll go 12.
Yeah, I'll go 12 as well.
12, not legal anywhere. At least I hope
God.
not. At least I hope not.
I think there are places where there is no barrier.
Whoa, hold on. Please don't tell me if there is. I don't want that information. Because, first of all, I'm not going to do anything with that information. And secondly, there's the information that I don't need. That part of my brain could be used for something else.
All right, well.
So I don't need the comments being like, actually, in Myanmar, the age of consent is 7. I don't want to know if that's true.
Wait. Well, now I'm going to have to... No, actually, I'm not going to
Don't Google it.
I stopped.
You know what? I only picked it because it has a funny name. I'm sure they're wonderful people. All right, so that's...
It'll always be Burma to me.
Thank you! I was hoping you would say that.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. See, I can't do that with Peyton. I can do it with Tanya. She's a huge Seinfeld fan. You're a huge Seinfeld fan. Peyton's actually too young to have seen Seinfeld when it was on.
Well, it's still around.
Yeah, and I mean, he likes it, I think, but he doesn't know all the references like we do.
Right.
So, yeah. Okay, I got a couple of story lists. Well, more than a couple, actually, because I was going to this website called Rate My Job. Which,
there's like Rate My Fill in the Blank.
Yeah, well, yeah, but this isn't like Rate the Titties or nothing like that. This is a collection of humor articles and listicles mostly related to the working environment.
Listicles, I like that.
You've never heard that before?
No, but I get it.
I can't take credit for it. I hear it all the time.
It's like you say it and I immediately understand.
Now, I picked out a few of these because I read and enjoyed them or saw the title and thought I would enjoy them. But a few of these I picked out specifically for list critics, too.
Oh, yeah?
Because you have this ambition that you could be a teacher. And
yeah.
I know that you say, oh, my eyesight's too bad, I can't do it anymore, but fuck that, I think you can.
I'd love to.
Well, I have 19 students share the most intense teacher meltdowns they've ever seen. Okay, which sounds amazing, right?
Do you have any meltdown stories?
Wait. And I have 15 teachers reveal the biggest student meltdown they've ever witnessed.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to do them both, but you get to pick which one you want to hear first. Do you want to hear the students freaking and melting down, or the teachers freaking out and melting down?
I want to first hear about the teachers, then the students.
I think that's more interesting because teacher meltdowns are more rare, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Just simply due to two aspects. One is age, and the other is just simply the ratio.
And you're not supposed to let the kids get to you, you know?
Now, but before we start, do you have any teacher meltdown stories to tell?
I was thinking about that. I was going to ask you the same thing, but...
Well, I have two. I have two, and you know what's funny? They're both the fault of the same kid.
Oh, no.
They were both in junior high, and they were both the fault of this kid, Timothy. To give you a vision of what he looked like, he looked like Fuller from Home Alone.
Okay.
You know that the kid,
right.
you know that little twerpy kid with the glasses.
Yeah, I got the visual.
Fuller, go easy on the Pepsi.
Yeah.
Just imagine him, slightly older and blonde. That's Tim.
Okay.
Also, he was an asshole.
Okay.
But he used his asshole powers for good.
For good?
By harassing teachers for the purpose of entertaining everybody. And the one story is that he got this one teacher so head up that she flipped out and demanded that he go out into the hall so she could, I guess, yell at him. But I made a joke to my friend Anthony, who was sitting next to me, and I said, she's going to show him how to make love. Which doesn't sound funny. It sounds like something a 12-year-old would say, because I was 12. But he must have known that somebody would make that joke or that reference, because when he came back into the room, he had a goofy smile on his face, and his hair was messed up, and his glasses were askew.
Oh yeah, you've told this story before.
And she looked kind of disheveled too. Her bra strap was showing, and I mean, I have told Tanya the story, and I think it might have been on List Critics, but let me tell you guys. Do I think anything happened? No. I think she probably got disheveled from yelling at him, and maybe he saw the bra strap showing and thought it would be funny to muss up his hair and his glasses and smile and make people think that they were like making out or whatever.
But at the time, did you believe it?
I thought I had the power supreme.
Like in the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I was 12. I was stupid. The other story, same kid, we had this one teacher, and I actually remember that. Okay, well, first of all, by the way, another part of that story is that the teacher in that case was very attractive, so that played into it. But anyway, we had this other, and I actually remember this bitch's name. This was Ms. Belusik.
Belusik?
Mrs. Belusik, she was an English teacher, and she was the typical 10th grade English, not 10th grade, I'm thinking, it was 7th grade. Typical 7th grade English teacher, meaning a bitch.
Yeah, well...
Humorless, skinny brunette bitch, would be hot if she didn't look like murder all the time.
Didn't give you dagger eyes?
Oh my God, she never... okay, not only would she not smile, but she would do this thing where she would smile with her mouth, but not the rest of her face.
Oh, fake smile.
Yeah, so it was like, I'm smiling, but I want to kill you, you know. And she was very strict, and she was kind of a pain in the ass. So me and Tim were like right in the front, and he was always torturing her. He wanted to break her. He said he wanted to break her. I'm not, this isn't conjecture here.
Like Ivan Drago shit up in this?
He wanted to make her cry or scream, or he wanted to get a meltdown out of her. And he did one day where he had been needling her and needling her and needling her, and it was driving her crazy because everybody's laughing at her. And, it's not a good feeling for a grown woman to be humiliated by a bunch of 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
And we were doing this thing, poetry. It was Robert Frost, The Road Less Taken. And... Okay. And she says something like, and how does he choose which road to take? And Timothy's arm shoots up, and he's, ooh, 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 ooh. He's doing that move where you're like supporting one arm with the other, you know?
Yeah.
And he never volunteers information. He's the class clown, you know? So she's like, Timothy, and he goes, eeny, meeny, miny, mo? Not even that funny, not even that bit, but this was the moment that she snapped. It was the straw that broke the camel's back. And I think what made her snap was that she laughed. And she never laughed ever on it. But it was a ugly, guttural sound. It was where a little laugh escaped her, but it was mingled with a grunt of anger. Like, how dare you make me break my bitchy veneer kind of thing. It sounded like this. It sounded like...
Ugh, gross.
Like a bad dog trying to get loose of its chain, you know? And
like a monkey.
And her eyes bugged out. She turned beat-ass red, and bitch was pale, by the way.
Oh.
And she physically grabbed him by the shirt, lifted him up out of the desk, and dragged him out of the room into like a classroom that was empty, and all we could hear was screaming. No words, just... And I lost my shit. I was on the floor, like, you know how people say R-O-F-L? I literally was R-O-F-L.
I hope so.
But the thing is, nobody else was, because they didn't hear what he said. Because he's in the front row, and she's like literally 2 feet from him, so he didn't have to say it loudly, but I was right next to him.
Oh.
So the majority of the class did not actually hear what he said, so they were like, what did he say? You know, I'm just like, I can't breathe to say it, you know? And then everybody starts laughing, and it was... And she didn't come back for a while.
So what do you guys do in the interim?
I told you, laugh.
Just sit there and laugh.
For a good 5 minutes, it hurt. You ever laugh so hard and so long that it becomes painful?
Yeah, and then you just can't breathe.
Yeah, that's what it was like. And I'm sitting there, you know, like my lungs hurt. And then she came back. He did not come back. He was like he was like suspended or something. I don't know what happened, but
Jeez, talk about
I think she just sent him to the principal or something. But she came back and she looked like she had fought a war.
Oh man.
Yeah. So that's my teacher breakdown story. Well, 2 of them, but one was minor. One was more funny because of the remark I made. But because you couldn't really, I knew she was probably berating him, but you couldn't hear anything. But the other one, like I said, all you could hear was screaming.
Wow.
It was like that. It was crazy. Anyway,
I wish I had something like that, but really, we actually liked a lot of our teachers. The only time they ever got frustrated was when we were joking and being too silly in class, and they would just try to calm us down. And when we couldn't calm down, they would just send a bunch of us to the principal's office, and then it was done. But for the most part, we liked our teachers.
But this was one kid who had a thing about this one teacher and just wanted to... It wasn't just the one teacher. He just liked, especially if they were youngish, female, and a bit on the attractive side, he would fuck with them hard. He wanted to see them break. So, I can't imagine what kind of man he is now. He's probably one of those guys that looks at, like, you know, the kind of porn where the women get beat up.
What? Why? Why would you go there with that?
Because he seemed to get off on demeaning women.
Was it really about women or just about authority?
He didn't do it to male teachers.
But did he do it to other female teachers or just this one?
Only the attractive ones.
Maybe he grew up to, I don't know, be a comedian or
yeah,
maybe...
but he wouldn't be a good comedian. He'd be like Daniel Tosh. I mean, Let's get to this list, though. 19
Yes.
students share the most intense teacher meltdowns they've seen. I have read this, and it is really good.
Okay.
Okay, we don't have names, but they're all sourced from Reddit. This first one says, I don't know if it really counts, but our former Latin teacher once slapped a kid across the face because the kid made fun of her dead husband. The teacher got suspended shortly afterwards. Man, do I have mixed emotions about that.
Yeah, which side do you go on, you know?
On the one hand, it is not acceptable to hit a kid. On the other hand, the kid crossed a line that he shouldn't have crossed.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if the kid made fun of the dead husband after that.
Probably not. I mean, you know, like I think that like the school officials, like, they knew they had to do something, but I think suspension is right, because like it would suck to get fired for something like that.
Yeah.
You know, I think
Especially
if it was just, you know, like for anything else, she probably would have been, or he, I don't know, it doesn't say, but they probably would have been fired.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2, junior year in university, my genetics professor was in the middle of a lecture when authorities took him out of the auditorium, thank goodness, and informed him that his wife, the dean of our college, had been struck and killed by a motor vehicle that morning.
Oh my God.
Now, that's terrible, but now the proper reaction would be to, you know, I mean, maybe say class dismissed and you know, go and mourn, you know.
Yeah.
Perhaps, you know, have your meltdown in private. But this is what this guy did. He retreated to his office and proceeded to tear the place apart like a tornado had gone through it. He ripped the top of his desk off its frame, pulled down all his bookcases, books, pages, papers, all sorts of documents, and the furniture strewn everywhere in pieces.
Whoa.
What is he?
That's some Hulk
He's
smash.
the Incredible Hulk. I was just about to say that. By the time I graduated, he still wasn't the same man as he was before that awful day. Well, of course not. But
no.
wow, I mean, I'm glad no one was hurt, but holy shit.
Yeah, at least he was tearing down things and not people.
His office, not like the classroom or somebody could have been hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I had the same, this is number 3, I had the same morning tutor from age of 11 to 16. She was really, really lovely. She was an English teacher, and we always chatted about literature and films. She was always up for a laugh and joked around with us all the time. A few times a year, she'd buy a loaf of food and a loaf of food, what's wrong with me? A load of food and treats to dish out. Then, when we were about 14, she got engaged. A year later, the relationship was over, and she was a wreck. She suddenly got really quiet. Then one day, we were all talking and laughing, but she was trying to get our attention. She couldn't get the attention and suddenly burst into tears. Took off her ID card, and in the dead silence of the room said, I can't do this. She walked out of the room, and we didn't see her again for weeks. She's now traveling the world. I have her on Instagram. Last time I checked, she was in Nepal.
Whoa, life change.
Well, I mean, sometimes you need to spend some time with yourself, you know?
You got to get away from it all.
Yeah. Number 4. I like this one. In high school, our government teacher freaked out on my class. We had a few talkers in the back. By the way, I had a government class, and it was like the worst teacher ever.
Government? That's a class now? Yeah.
Well, it's like learning about different systems of government and how they work, and it was a bullshit class. It's in the history, and she was a bullshit teacher. And the meltdown in that case was me, but I don't want to get into that right now.
Okay.
I let her have it, though. We had a few talkers in the back corner, and they finally broke him. He flipped his lectern over and started screaming at us. He called us the worst group of kids he'd ever had to teach, and that he was 110% sure that we were going to be nothings. Then he went into his desk and drank his entire thermos of coffee. A few years later, he was having a retirement party at his house. I was close friends with his son, and he revealed to us that the thermos was 80% vodka and 20% coffee.
Yeah, I figured.
Well, he needed that at that moment, so good for him.
Liquid courage, man.
Or liquid fortitude.
Yeah.
Number 5. Maybe not a meltdown per se, but I had a chemistry class that was in a huge auditorium with really steep stairs. The professor always walked her all over the room when we took quizzes and tests. One day he tripped halfway up the auditorium stairs and took a hell of a fall. He landed face down, unhurt apart from bruises, on the floor, and before we could really react, he starts banging his fist on the floor and screaming, "Entropy! Entropy! Entropy!"
Whoa.
Man does not like to fall down. I mean, nobody likes to fall down, but that's a bizarre reaction.
I wonder if he's ever seen the movie Falling Down.
It's a good movie.
Mm.
Number 6. It started as a normal lesson with a teacher giving a class a lecture. Then his phone rang, which happens really rarely, but instead of hanging up like he would usually do, he answered. When he hung up, he had the most distraught face I've ever seen and stayed silent for close to a minute. "I'm sorry, a friend just committed suicide," he said before sobbing quietly and excusing himself out of the classroom. You know, I heard a very similar story. It's not on this list, but I heard a similar story where the guy he's a teacher, and he got a call about his brother dying, and then he said something like, "My brother just died," and then continued to teach the class.
Oh.
Now that is freaky.
Yeah, it's like, my brother died. Anyway, if you
Yeah.
turn to page 234.
Yeah. Number 7 is a very short to the point. When in primary school, some kids were misbehaving, and she broke down into tears, started screaming, and threw a chair. We never saw her again.
Oh, sounds like me in grade 8.
Whoa, okay.
I threw chairs.
Why would you throw chairs?
Because I was really angry all the time.
Damn, I guess. Yeah, but you don't expect a teacher to throw chairs.
No, like I said, I was in grade 8.
Well, holy shit, dude. It's so hard to imagine you that angry. Like, I mean, I've heard you worked up, but I'm trying to imagine that level of rage, and it doesn't seem to be in your personality.
Well, I was bullied a hell of a lot in regular school. So then, but I couldn't fight back because I was, small and weak. And then finally, once the playing field was level with other visually impaired kids, I finally had an outlet where I could unleash my Hulk-like rage.
Well, there you go. Number 8. In my senior year, my English teacher was assaulted by a serial rapist. Okay, I just want to pause. This turns out okay, but she wasn't raped. She was just attacked. I just want to put that out there before anybody freaks out too much.
Whew.
He was going to check her mail, and he grabbed her. She was tiny, but she fought him off, and he ran when someone came to see what the fuck was going on. She wasn't raped, thank God, but she definitely had PTSD. This was in 1989, so she wouldn't have been diagnosed with anything. I don't know why she decided to tell our class, but she fell apart when she got about halfway through. She wasn't the only one. There were a couple of big old boys in that class who were both star football players. Gotta say, until this, I thought they were just another couple of jock meatheads. They were both in tears. She finished her story. I can't say that any of us did anything amazing or actually anything at all, but she didn't ever have to walk to her car alone, and some of the students who lived in the same apartment complex kept an eye on her. They got the bastard who attacked her about a year later. He was a very bad man and nearly killed one of the last women he attacked.
God.
I mean,
at least they got him.
It turned out okay, especially, I like the students protecting her. That's really cool, but why would you tell your students about something like that?
I don't, just a lapse in judgment. I don't know.
I mean, you don't know that they're prepared to hear something like that they can handle something that heavy.
That's some heavy shit to deal with at that age.
I mean, high school kids are, they look grown up, but they're not.
No, that's the problem.
Number 9. Year 9 maths class. Our teacher was off sick, and an early 20s substitute teacher came in to cover. She was lovely, kind, friendly, although a bit timid and shy. One girl in our class used a fountain pen to flick ink on a skirt she was wearing one day. That's a dick move.
Yeah.
Poor woman noticed her do it, didn't say a word, and just went to her desks. Why are you pluralizing everything? Put her head in her hands and sobs. Doesn't move to 10 minutes at least. Eventually a friend of mine goes to get another teacher. The sub was escorted out, still crying, and was seen for the rest of the day just crying in her car. Didn't move for another 4 or so hours.
Whoa.
Bit of an overreaction.
That's an early form of triggered right there.
I mean, the girl shouldn't have done that. It's a dick move, but that's where you say, all right, well, I'm going to call your parents, and they're going to pay for my dry cleaning now, so fuck you.
Exactly.
I mean, that year 9, that's high school freshmen. They're all monsters, but that is a hell of an overreaction. I got to think she must have been upset about something else.
Maybe that was her straw that broke camel's back.
Maybe you're right about that.
So people are just having a bad day.
Number. I'm sorry. I just looked at my phone just to see if it wasn't anybody from my family or anything. It's Do you know that YouTuber The Odd Ones Out?
Yep,
Okay,
the cartoon guy.
Yeah, he just posted a video because I get I really like his videos and I got notification. He put up a video called "Peeing Yourself." I'm gonna have to watch that later.
Oh man.
Number 10. I had a Spanish teacher in middle school that was so tired of us turning in broken Spanish on our homework assignments that she screamed at us and called us stupid Americans before throwing pieces of chalk at us, one after the other. How much chalk did she have? Another time, she got on her knees and started praying the rosary in front of us when a girl said "El pollo nugget." El pollo nugget.
El pollo nugget.
I imagine you can get a pollo nugget over at Los Pollos Hermanos.
Yeah.
You know,
Alright.
come on, you know the fucking reference. You've seen Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
The Chicken Man. You know. Well, do you watch Better Call Saul?
No.
First of all, you should because it's really fucking good.
Is it on Netflix?
No. Well, season 1 is.
Okay.
Season 2 is not.
I've only watched through Breaking Bad once, and that's all I'm ever gonna do.
Well, I know you didn't like it as much as I mean, you liked it, but not a lot, right?
Yeah.
I get okay. But Better Call Saul's almost. I'm gonna get crucified for this. It's almost better. I mean, it's a really good show.
Well, I do
And,
like Bob Odenkirk.
Yeah, and it's a prequel, and obviously it's all about him. And Bob Odenkirk is amazing. And but yeah, season 3 is coming out soon, and because it is a prequel, they're going to be bringing Gus into it, and they advertise this by people figured it out because apparently the names of the episode in season 2, if you take the first letter of each of them and then you unscramble it, it says "Fring is back" or something like that.
Oh my god, that's a bit much.
They didn't
right
expect
there.
anybody to figure it out, but somebody did. Never fuck with Breaking Bad fans; they'll figure shit out. But anyway, they did a commercial for it, but it wasn't a commercial for the show. It was actually a commercial for Los Pollos Hermanos.
Oh, okay.
And Gus Frings at the end and everything. Yeah. So, I imagine you can get El Pollo Nugget over there.
And then you got to pray to the rosary, pray the rosary in order to get your
I could
meal.
see that happen. I had a teacher. I didn't take Spanish; I took Italian, and I had a teacher that would do shit like that. Like somebody would say something stupid, and she'd be like, "Ay, Dios mío, I'm gonna."
Stupid Americans.
And by the way, I know I just said that in Spanish because even though I took Italian language class for 3 years in junior high and 4 years in high school, I still know way more Spanish than Italian.
Dios mío. Oh mon Dieu.
Well, you know what's funny is all of these have their little titles, which I usually don't read, but the title of that one is Ay Dios mío.
Ay, Dios mío. Yeah.
You're doing like Speedy Gonzales, aren't you?
Ay, Dios mío.
Or you're doing Pedro from The Simpsons. I don't know which one.
Oh God.
Ay, no chihuahua. Okay.
Bumblebee Man?
Yeah. His name's Pedro, but yeah. Number 11, we had a physical education teacher who sweat like a mofo whenever sexual subjects were raised. He ended up having to be a substitute teacher for one of our sex ed lessons.
Oh no.
This gets good, by the way. I'll just tell you. We were very aware of his discomfort discussing the subject and asked him lots of in-depth questions, making sure we used all the correct anatomical terminology. The guy had a Class A anxiety attack.
Oh no.
He was genuinely afraid he was going to have a heart attack. Red face, profuse sweating, breathing difficulty, and a look of primal terror in his eyes. We got the early mark we were fishing for, but I think we did the poor fellow some real emotional damage.
Oh man.
I mean, honestly, I gotta admit, like talking about sex with a room full of 12-year-olds that sounds really super stressful.
Yeah, like you're walking on eggshells there.
Yeah, especially if you don't like to talk about that shit to begin with. It's I can imagine that happening. No, and of course the kids, like I said, kids are monsters. Of course they're going to needle the guy. Number 12. I was in band. One day, one of the regular, always in trouble / disruptive students was being extra disruptive while the director was trying to tell us something important. So after about 5 different times of going the normal route to get him to settle down, he cracked. It got quiet, and then the director bellowed, "Are you stupid or just don't give a shit?"
Whoa, all right.
The whole room was quiet. All eyes were now on the disruptive kid who was then trying to hide behind his tuba. Then director continued with his announcement like nothing happened. Well, I love that he was able to snap back into it immediately like that.
That actually somehow reminds me of, it wasn't a teacher, but it was a counselor of, I don't know if I've told the story already about when I stayed out too late because I went to a kind of a boarding school, so
I think that you told me, but you never said it like on List Critics.
Oh, okay. Well, there's not much to it. In the end, I ended up staying out past the curfew, which is 9:30, because they gotta rein in all the blind kids.
Well, I mean, who knows what you're off doing? Like oral sex in the woods.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, really, I was at the mall and I missed the bus, so I had to wait for the next one. That's kind of what it was. But I was like, no worries. If you're late, you're supposed to call, and this was before the invention of the telephone. No, before the popularity of cell phones.
Well, I was going to say, I'm sure the telephone existed, just maybe
Yes.
not the smartphone, but the telephone was a thing.
Yes, before the popularity of cell phones.
Yeah. Okay.
Like hovering around 2000, the year 2000.
Oh, okay. So some people had them, but not a lot of people had them.
Mm-hmm.
Like mostly drug dealers had them.
Yeah, burner phones. But so you're supposed to normally call, and I just felt like, well, I'll be like 10 minutes late. That won't be much of a problem. So then I get in the door, and his name is Mr. Koenig. I still remember to this day. Oh. And he said, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm a little late, but I'll just go upstairs. I got to do my chore. I think I was, sweeping or something. And every day I have a different chore. Yeah. But he said, can I see you in the office for a sec first? I'm like, all right. Probably thinking that, got to go over the menu for next week or, switch something around. And he closes the door, and he doesn't necessarily grab me, but he moves so close to me that I kind of have to force myself into a chair.
He did the Dumbledore thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody said in Goblet of Fire that, like, Dumbledore threw Harry across the room or something. No, he just charged at him.
Mm-hmm.
And Harry tripped backwards. So he did that to you.
Yeah, but before I knew it, he was just right in my face. He's like, you think this is fucking funny? You think you can just come and go as you please? You think you're cock of the walk because you're one of the most popular kids at school and you can just come and go, and you realize that my ass is on the line if you're 1 second late out of the class or the residence. You just went off on me.
Dude. You know what it is probably your whole, I'm sorry I'm late, no big deal. The fact that you kind of made it like, it's okay.
Yeah, like I came in like, boop, boop, boop,
yeah,
no big deal.
That probably pissed him off.
And to be honest, I was a bit arrogant, and I know it was just scare tactics, but it worked.
It probably would have been better to try to sneak in instead of just like walking past the guy like, hey, I'm late,
No, but the problem is you have to report when you're leaving the premises.
So you have to sign in and out?
Sign in and out, yeah.
All right.
So anyway, yeah, he goes off of me and he says,
how long did that go on for?
It felt like forever, but it was probably like 5 minutes.
5 minutes is
and the funny thing
is, a long time to be yelled at, though.
Yeah, it was about 5 minutes.
That's a long time.
And the funny thing is, by the end, he's like, "Are you going to do it again?" And I go, "No." And he says, "So, do we have an understanding?" And I go, "Okay."
Yikes.
Yeah, I'm like 8. I'm
so
18.
You did have a
teacher.
He wasn't like a teacher in that, but you did have a story. I thought we might draw one out of you.
Yeah, like a supervisor, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. Faculty.
But he was honestly one of my favorite counselors. He's really good at what he does.
Well, you fucking pissed him off. I mean,
but besides that one freak out, he's a genuinely very awesome guy.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, like putting yourself in that position where you're in charge of these kids' safety, I could see him being upset,
But I think his tactic worked. Like he's normally really nice, and all of a sudden, boom, he just gets in your face. Like,
That'll do it. Beware the nice ones. All right, number 13. This was in high school. We had a band teacher. His nickname was Pinky because he had very red hair and pale skin with a red tint, borderline albino.
Norf.
Every time he got mad, his entire face turned tomato red. I don't remember the sequence of events, but he was already frustrated. Everyone in the room knew to shut up so that we didn't piss him off. Well, everyone except this one dippy girl. She asked him something along the lines of, "Are you mad?" and kept pestering him. He finally snapped. His face turned that familiar shade of tomato red, and he threw the pencil he was using to conduct across the room. He then stormed out, slammed the door hard enough that it could be heard on the other side of the building, and he quit soon afterwards.
Oh, wow.
Now that, I mean, it doesn't sound like as big of a meltdown as these other, but the guy quit his job.
Like, fuck it, I'm out.
Yeah, he rage quit in the middle of a class.
He rage quit his job.
I mean, you know, I've seen people rage quit their jobs. Usually they're not teachers.
Yeah, it's that whole, are you okay? Something wrong? Are you mad?
You mad? You mad? This is a very short one. Number 14, English teacher brought a gun to school.
Whoa. That
She-
escalated quickly.
She thought one of her whole classes was trying to kill her. She was in a mental hospital last time I heard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Paranoia could fucking be a killer, man.
Not unless they're really trying to get you.
Well, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they ain't.
Exactly.
Number 15, we had an art teacher in year 7, 11 years old. Not that the teacher was 11, but they were 11, who would lock himself in the supply cupboards and scream and rip his hair out. It was unsettling.
Whoa.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, unsettling for him and the kid, for everybody.
I mean, wow. Number 16, not so much a breakdown, but a break in normal behavior for sure. Our freshman English teacher was a small, soft-spoken woman who was kind of known to be a teacher you could walk all over with little but not no repercussions. We were in a review session after school, and some upperclassmen were just hanging out in the hallways, making lots of noise, so she was constantly poking her head out in the hall, asking them to be quiet. As we were all very silent reading or something, the classroom door absolutely slams shut. So hard, the latch didn't have time to catch, and the door bounced back open. The teacher immediately yells, "Oh, hell no!" kicks off her heels, and takes off out the door. She caught up with the kid, who had taken a running start and kicked the door shut, and berated him for a good 10 minutes. Now, if you thought 5 minutes is a long time to be yelled at,
Oh.
which we could hear clear as day from the end of the hall. It was like nothing we'd ever heard from her.
Everybody has a breaking point.
What is the better part, the oh hell no, or kicking off her heels so she could run?
I think just that whole moment as one
Yeah, it's,
perfect time.
I mean, they're both amazing, but together it's more than the sum of its parts.
Yes.
Number 17, in high school, I turned in a form to my science teacher a day late. She screamed at me, walked out of the classroom, and was gone for nearly an hour. Class had started, and everyone had speculations, blaming me for what happened. Teacher comes back, joyful and smiling, says she just needed a walk around the campus to recover.
Jeez. Maybe you need a vacation.
Maybe she needs one of those, like, squeezy things.
Oh, the stress balls.
Yeah. Shit.
Just shaped like a student's head.
Yeah. Number 18. 10th grade, was in math class, and the teacher was getting frustrated that not everyone was understanding a problem, and he made various threats on what he would do if we didn't figure it out, more homework, tests, etc. I kept asking questions because I legitimately didn't understand, and he yelled, "Fuck's sake!" and threw an eraser at me. I got up and left, never ratted him out, and the next day he was super patient with everyone. I think it was his, "oh, I fucked up" moment.
Yeah.
And in that moment, he knew he had done fucked up.
Oh, the visual is just so fantastic.
Isn't it?
I'm repeating
Isn't
him. Fuck's sakes!
Fuck's sake! And he tosses the eraser. All right, number 19. This is the last one. I taught public high school for 7 years and have been teaching in a university ever since. This topic makes me remember the time I once broke down in tears when a cell phone rang in class, or the time I threw up in a trash can, brushed my teeth with bottled water right in front of all 42 of them, asked the janitor to come down and take the trash out, and went back to teaching after my favorite student of all time faked barfing noises because he knew it would make me puke.
Oh my.
You know, puking is not like yawning.
Yeah, it's like, but maybe for some people, just the sound of it makes them just gag.
But to actually throw up because somebody's making throw up sounds is crazy.
You know, let's just say some people. Well, this
Okay.
doesn't quite work
Well,
all the time.
I hate to interrupt the show because we're going good and we're having a good time, but I really, really have to pee.
Okay.
Why don't you, because I'm going to do this fast as fuck, OPT. Tell everybody what you think of this list while I go run and take a piss.
Well, this list, I gotta say, I'm glad that we kind of went through it because it reminded me of that friggin' freak out from the counselor. And honestly, it set me straight. So these kinds of things, they could actually be, even though hilarious, somewhat beneficial. Like if especially if it singles out a kid. Because, if a teacher comes back at you and freaks the hell out on you, it might actually genuinely set you straight.
Okay, I'm back. But out of 19, what do you say?
I got to give it a 19.
I'm going to go 17 because even though it was very good, a couple of them are depressing.
Yeah, but
Towards
they were
the
still
beginning.
genuine in their
Yeah.
realism.
Now, I do got to say that I just want to... Okay. I remember I told you the government teacher that I had the freak out?
Yeah.
I really don't want to tell the story because it's long.
Okay.
Maybe one day I will, but I will say that I got her fired.
Oh, man.
Because she did something to piss me off so much that I went to the head of the history department and yelled at him.
You have a history department? Or you had a history
It
department?
was in high school. Yeah, there was, there's an English department, history department, and there was one teacher in each department that was like the head of that department. It was basically the supervisor of all the teachers in that department.
Man, did you go to expensive school or something?
No, this is fucking New York City public school, man. It's just the way it's run. Like there's a it's not like there's a building. It's just that one teacher in each, subject group has an office.
Oh, well, we sure as hell didn't have any of that.
Well, I went. His name was Mr. Hyman. Make all the jokes you want, but he was a very nice man. And I
Mr.
went
Hyman.
and I freaked the fuck out, and I showed him the thing that she had written, and I was livid, and then he was livid, and then apparently he talked to some other students about it, and they had their complaints about her. And then the next time I went to him, he said, "Don't worry, she's not going to be here next year." And everybody, and he said, "Don't worry about that class. Everybody will." Because her favorite thing to do, like if you just even annoyed her a little bit, would be to threaten to fail you.
Damn.
Can't do that. You can't just fail a student because you don't like them or whatever, And he told me everybody will be passing that class.
Nice.
Okay, so let's do the opposite list.
All right. Kid freak out.
There's only 15 of them, but this is the students freaking out. Not necessarily kids, but students.
Yes.
Some of them are kids, but why is this at number 2? I think I have to hit the back button. All right. Here we go, number 1. I had a first grade teacher that was hot. Not, like, attractive, but, like, temperature-wise.
Oh.
So he stood up, knocking over his chair. That was, I mean, I just wanted to say that because imagine if she was saying, "Oh yeah, this first grader was sexy AF," Yeah. So he stood up, knocking over his chair. That wasn't enough, so then he threw his chair and walked to my desk and cleared it off with a swipe of his arm. This is one badass 6-year-old, huh? After that, he pushed the intercom button, calling the office, and before they can answer, he stepped into the hall to sit down to wait for the principal. Once the principal arrived to take him to the air-conditioned office, the student bit the principal on the arm.
Whoa.
He was suspended for 3 days and got to stay home in his air-conditioned apartment.
Is this a feral child?
It sounds like, I mean, "I'm hot, fuck you, desk, fuck you, chair, fuck you, principal, I'm gonna bite the shit out of you." Damn.
Damn. Was this kid must have been raised in the woods or something.
Wild animal, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, taught special ed. Had a kid throw a chair through the window, break it, jump through the window, and run away. Man, I do not miss teaching. He
Holy
was
smokes.
out. He was out. He made a hole and went through it.
I could see him talking to the kids early in the day, like, I'm getting out. Today's my day.
Well, he's special ed, so maybe it wasn't quite that coherent, but...
Well, in one way or another.
Yeah, all right. Number 3. Not me, but a teacher friend of mine was proctoring SATs when one kid flips his desk and screams, "Fuck you, Daniel," and storms out. Now, you know what? It's explained, but I almost wished that the story ended right there.
Yeah, like, who's
The
Daniel?
mystery of it is so cool, right? Like, "Fuck you, Daniel," and then he leaves.
Or I hope
Turns
it was
out-
sarcastic, like, fuck you, Daniel.
Turns out Daniel had been ripping his own pubes out of his junk and putting them on the kid's shoulder in front of him. When the kid in front of him found out, he obviously flipped out. And for the record, yes, Daniel is a fake name.
Oh, okay.
I would hope so.
But, ripping out your own pubes?
Gross. And painful.
Yeah.
All right, number 4, we were meeting in the computer. Maybe he was shedding.
Oh, God.
Number 4, we were meeting in the computer lab for a week because the students were working on projects. One of my students was hanging out with his girlfriend before class started. I was in the classroom, so I wasn't paying any attention to the conversation. He walks into the room, and he was fuming. I asked him what was wrong, and he didn't respond. He went to his computer and punched the screen. I tried to calm him down, and he picked up the table, which had 5 computers on it, and tipped it over. I got the rest of the students out and called security. He absolutely destroyed the computer lab. He was suspended for the rest of the year, was banned from prom and graduation, and his parents had to pay for the damages. His girlfriend apparently cheated on him. I heard they got back together after that, but it was never confirmed.
Oh, my God. Poor parents having to pay 5 computers? Damn.
No. More than that, because he destroyed the whole lab.
The whole lab.
Yeah.
Well, no birthday or Christmas for that kid.
Yeah. Boy. Number 5. I teach English in Japan, and I worked in some elementary schools for a few years. In one class, this one kid just wouldn't keep quiet, kept talking in a loud voice to the kid next to him no matter how many times I asked him to be quiet and pay attention. I got frustrated and told him off, saying that even if he didn't want to learn, he was screwing it up for everyone else, and to either be quiet or get out, all in Japanese, of course. Just to note, kids are almost never kicked out of class in Japan, as far as I'm aware, because people have the right to education by law here. The kid flipped out and started yelling at me. I can't remember everything he said, but the highlight would translate as approximately, "Die, you fucking pervert." And this was coming from a 4th grader. Then he buggered off somewhere.
And then he buggered off.
"Die, you fucking pervert"? Wow.
It's the easy go-to for kids to call teachers. Pervert.
In the 4th grade, wow.
You'd be surprised.
I would be, yeah. Number 6. Adding this because it was comical and not sad like so many others on this thread. We had a girl in our school with Down syndrome who was a tiny shrimp of a thing, skinny, short, and fast. Her appointed aides were older and not in the best shape, so she gave them a run for their money often. The kiddos in her classroom came down to take care of recycling and such every day in all the hallways, and one day she must have been pretty mad at her aide because she gave her a good long side-eye and took off for the exit doors in our wing. I'm a regular ed English teacher who was just on my way to make copies and saw her sprint away towards the doors. I literally knelt down, hooked her around the waist, she was looking back at her aide smiling, and basically hugged her into a stop saying, "I don't think you're supposed to go out those doors." Her aides laughed, and she just looked at me horrified that I dare impede her break from freedom. They probably mean break for freedom.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, you're an English teacher and you said that?
Oops.
Dang. No wonder kids are stupid these days. Repeat this scenario about 8 or 9 times over 2 years. I think I hooked that kid in dead sprint more often than anyone else. When I retire, I want to come back and work with these kids. They're a hoot.
Aw.
Well, that's good. And we got a runner.
We got a runner.
Number 7. I'm a teacher in a prison. Oh, well, you know that's going to be a bad one, right?
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Actually, it's not. It's very short. They were doing Mavis Beacon teaches typing, and one inmate kept putting his hands on the wrong keys, to which he freaks out and starts yelling at the computer how it's a dumb motherfucker. I like it. I like it.
That's how my mom learned to type. Mavis Beacon.
Oh, there you go.
Couldn't find any nudes though.
I knew you were gonna make that reference.
Yeah, that's from
I remember
you.
I came up with that idea. I said, Andrew, I got a song title. He's like, Mavis Beacon News, and he's like, you are wrong. There's really something wrong with you. Like, I don't know, man. Some years she's a bad bitch.
Mm-hmm.
Number 8. I'm not a teacher, but I was assisting a teacher because I'm a student aide, and one of the students started arguing with the teacher, and he threw his desk down hard and started calling the teacher a godless whore.
Wow.
It's a great insult. I told him to calm down, and he punched me in the face and then stormed out of the classroom. He was expelled due to that being his third disturbance, and I got a black eye.
3 strikes rule, I guess.
Wow. I mean, punching the teacher's aide hard enough to give him a black eye. This kid was a badass.
You godless whore.
Godless whore. I like it. Number 9. This happened 10 years ago when I worked as a primary school teacher. I was teaching year 2, 8-ish-year-old kids at the time. One student stood out. He was a very bright kid, could do mental arithmetic as quickly as me, if not faster, but he was also extremely weird. No eye contact, did odd repetitive stuff by himself at recess, like timing his sprints across a certain section of the playground over and over. He had a few less odd friends who tolerated him, but he was mostly bullied for being so strange. He usually reacted stoically or defensively, but one day he absolutely snapped. At recess, he was being teased by a popular girl for reading so much, and she dared him to punch her when he got upset. Why would you dare him? Apparently today was the day, because he did, more than once, all directly to the stomach, probably 5 to 6 good kid-sized blows before I reached him and he snapped out of it and stopped. He got put through the ringer for that, as most teachers disliked him as well. I tried to explain he was constantly bullied and usually nonviolent. It got taken into consideration and he was still suspended for a week.
Oh, man.
I mean, damn, though, right? Why would
you don't dare somebody
to yeah.
At that age, especially.
Yeah. I mean, they're 8. I mean, come on. All right. Number 10. I once had a student who was using a laser pointer during class presentations that day, and after his group was finished, he was, of course, the normal freshman and decided to shine it around the room. Before I was able to tell him to cut it out, he managed to shine it in another student's direction. The student who had the laser pointed at him exploded. He flipped his desk, screaming a string of profanities before punching my cinder block wall, shattering his hand.
Ah.
He then stormed out of my classroom before I was able to address the situation or get him some help for his hand.
Good heavens, I guess he's got a problem with laser pointers.
Well, I mean, that shit gets in your eye. It hurts, man.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
I tell you, when I was in high school, we had this courtyard in the middle of the school. Nobody ever went to it, but it was like, because the school was shaped like a figure 8.
Cool.
And one of the middle parts was like where like auditoriums and gyms were stacked up on each other, and the other was a courtyard. It was just empty space, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was in this one class that had windows going into the courtyard, and we had like a teacher who had, she must have had a baby or some shit happened, and so we had like a substitute for like months, for the rest of the school year, actually.
Oh, boy.
Oh, it was fuck around time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This guy did not even attempt to teach the class. So we didn't have laser pointers, but we had girls in the class that had mirrors, little tiny mirrors. And we would catch the sun with the mirror and shine it into other classrooms across the way. I remember some of these kids thought they were hard, and they would actually walk all the way around to the side, and they'd come in, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you shut that mirror, man. Go see what's happening." I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no mirrors in here. Yeah. You go see what's happening. All right. Number 11. In high school, I had a laser pointer in class and was being a dick, shining it around the room. The boy next to me starts freaking... I wonder if this is the same story from a different perspective.
Yeah, okay.
Because I haven't read this list. I read the other one. I haven't read this one. All right. The boy next to me starts freaking out, saying, "Keep it away from me, keep it away from me." So, of course, being a dick, I start shining it on him. He screams, "You're going to give me cancer," then stabs me in the arm with a pencil.
Whoa.
So different I always like, man, let this be the same thing from somebody else's perspective. We both get sent to the principal. The principal was pissed at me for having a laser pointer, but the whole being stabbed thing kind of took the heat off of me. The kid who stabbed me was crying and moaning about how his life was ruined over something so stupid. The principal just seemed embarrassed and disgusted, just told both of us to leave.
Yeah, you gave him laser pointer cancer.
I don't think that's a thing. That's what makes it.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want it to be like shine in your eyes or anything because they can be kind of dangerous. They can damage your eyes. But
Yep.
you're gonna give me cancer. God, what is it? This is gonna be that guy who that like doesn't want the like when you go to shopping and there's the beep 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 the scanner and he's like stepping way back from this should give you cancer.
Oh yeah, everything gives you cancer. Well, I think at a certain
They
age,
use lasers. I mean,
yeah, I think at a certain age, like cancer is just the cover-all disease thing.
I guess. Number 12. We were on a class trip on the way back to school, and one of my colleagues pointed to a boy who was leaning against the subway doors, upset about something. I walked over and learned he had left his backpack at the movie theater and was very upset. I tried to encourage him, but he didn't care. Eventually, we're at our train stop, and everyone is getting off, but this kid is still leaning against the subway doors, opposite-sided open. Doors are about to close, and only he and I remain from our group. I tell him, please don't freak out, but I'm going to take you off the train. We have to go. He immediately starts struggling, but I'm a big guy, so I get him off. That didn't come off too well, but all right.
No.
As train starts pulling away, he is trying to walk back towards it, and we are all like, what the fuck? Be careful. Train is pulling out of the station. Eventually, I grab him and drag him backwards to the ground, and I yell at coworkers to get the kids out of here. As they were walking away, he is trying to crawl toward the open subway tracks, presumably to kill himself. This kid is 12, and I'm a giant man, but I'm all struggling to subdue him. I wrestled in high school, so I know how to keep control of someone on the ground, but he is really determined to get onto those tracks. I'm still struggling with him, and another train comes by, but I keep him on the platform. People are by now asking him if he's okay and eyeing me like, what the fuck are you doing to this child? Eventually, I yelled at my coworker to go get the police, and she runs off in tears. Now I'm alone, struggling with this child on the ground, and I assume it's about to get real, but as soon as he hears mentions of police, he starts calming down and begs me to let him go, promising to be good. I would say don't trust it. After a minute of not letting go, I talk him into standing up with me, and I take him away while aggressively holding his hand and putting my arm around him. We breathlessly walk into school, and I immediately take him to the main office where a small crisis team is gathered. Once he is safely sitting in a chair, I collapse into one as well and start processing my ordeal. His family comes to school to pick him up, but we have to mandatorily send him to a hospital for psychiatric evaluation. A couple days later, he's back in school like nothing ever happened. We had a special bond after that, and he always came to my classroom to check on me all year, even though I wasn't his teacher. I don't work at that school anymore, but I'm heading back at the end of this year to see if those students graduate and hope to find him happier and healthier. Well, I probably saved the kid's life. I mean, the kid was going to throw over a backpack. The kid was going to throw himself in front of a train.
12 is a sensitive age.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's probably something else going on there other than
You never know,
backpack.
maybe.
Yeah. Number 13. After just starting my career working at vocational college, I was witness to a student's multi-day meltdown that probably stemmed from things happening in his personal life. He was a student who I had come in contact with regarding his academic performance. At the time, I was a counselor and not yet teaching. One day, I got a message from one of our instructors that just said, please come to my classroom right now. This was a very strange request at the time. I also handle disciplinary cases, and I'm a pretty big guy. It just felt off, so I rushed out of my office and came through the building until I reached her class, and there is this student just sitting in the empty classroom in the back staring at her. She is at her desk in the front of the class alone. I walk past the student and go to talk to her. She just whispers that she wants him to leave and that he came in uninvited and sat down without saying a word and never took his eyes off of her. Get rid of this creepy kid. I went back and greeted him and asked him to come with me, which he did. We were met in the hallway by the academic dean, who had also been notified, and together we walked the student out of the main building where the dean spoke to him. I found out later he had been given a warning about his behavior. 2 days later, I'm sitting in my office and the lights in the adjacent classroom go out. This is in the middle of the day, and that was a lab that usually had people working in it. I get up and walk through the dark classroom to the light switch and flip it back on, and then a voice behind me says, "Hey," my name. I turn around and there's the student. He had pulled up a seat to be positioned right behind me. I walked within inches of him in the dark. This kid is creepy.
Yeah, I
Then-
don't like where this is going.
Yeah, I mean, is this Voldemort? Like, what the fuck?
This is like some Blofeld shit.
Yeah, right. Hey, good evening, Mr. Bond.
Yes.
Then finally, the Friday of that same week, the lights go out again. Then come back on, then a bit later they go off. This time I leave my office and take the door into the next lab, exit the building, walk around to the main entrance, and then into the dark lab. I open the door and reach in and flip on the lights. From this angle I can clearly see a pair of legs sticking out from behind a cubicle wall. I approach and can the student there? Almost incoherent. Can it? What? Next to him is a huge pile of spit out sunflower seed shells and a big bottle of empty mouthwash. What the hell is going on here?
This is weird.
I went back and got the academic dean. He was passed out. He must have drank the mouthwash.
But that much mouthwash will...
I mean, it'll knock you out. That's got a lot of alcohol in it, and not the fun kind of alcohol either.
No.
We revived the guy, called the authorities, and he was checked out by our nursing director and then thrown out. I processed his expulsion the same day. A few months later, I saw him in a gas station. He says, "Don't worry, I don't hate you anymore."
Whoa, okay.
Wow, that is... Somebody gotta keep an eye on this guy, man.
Put a tracer on him.
Can we just let somebody know that this guy's out there and needs to be looked after? Because holy shit.
I have a very quick story about mouthwash.
Oh, God.
There was the school was trying to work out another deal for another year, and we were thinking that maybe they were going to go on strike, and so we were pretty sure they were going to go on strike. So my friend and I, my roommate at the time, and I stayed up all night doing shots of mouthwash and celebrating.
Are you fucking stupid?
Yeah, okay, we're 16. Doing shots of mouthwash because we didn't have anything else, and we were celebrating the fact that we could stay at the school and just goof off and not have to worry about it.
Do you know it's not that kind of alcohol, right?
I do now.
Now, you know what's crazy? There's almost a brilliance to what you're telling me.
Why?
Because you know what the nasty side effect of drinking that kind of alcohol is?
What, death?
Well...
Blindness?
Yes, blindness.
Yeah.
So I guess you're like, well, I'm blind already, so...
How much more blinderish can I get? Well...
Okay, so, go on.
Well, and then, 7 o'clock rolls around, we get woken up, they worked out a deal. Ha ha ha.
Oops.
The end.
Well, lesson learned, I get. No, not really. Not really.
No.
There's no
there
lesson there.
Nothing was learned.
No.
Don't do shots of mouthwash, kids.
Yeah, bad idea.
Like I said, quick story.
Okay. Very strange. Number 14. I teach middle school and I've witnessed many meltdowns. A favorite was a new girl in my class. She threw one of my calculators across the room, so I told her to go to the office. She went out yelling and swearing, and I just stood there non-reactive. Then she went to slam the door on her way out, or at least she tried. Can't slam a safety door. Self-closer. Couldn't help but have a laugh at that.
It's like, and then you gotta wait.
It's like that Homer Simpson trying to slam beads, and he just goes, slam!
Slam!
Finally, number 15. I don't know if this counts, but I tutor at this girl's house. She's in her early teens, and there was this point in helping her with her homework where she made a mistake in pen and needed whiteout. Neither her nor her mom could find it, and it ended with the child yelling, "I have OCD, Mom! I can't go on without whiteout! I'm having an OCD attack! Why do you always do this to me? No, I swear I have OCD! What the hell?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's not what OCD is.
No.
At all. Not even a little bit. Actually, one of these kids from earlier sounded like an OCD case.
What, the one who ran back and forth doing times?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that sounded like an OCD case. But this one, because people think that OCD means that you're very fastidious or that you just focus on one thing a lot. Usually it's more repetitive things.
Yeah. Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Like closing a door 15 times to make sure that it's closed.
Turning the light on and off very hard so that you make sure it's on.
Yes, yes. You ever read, I know you don't read a lot, it says it. Stephen King's Needful Things.
No, but I know it.
You seen the movie, perhaps?
No,
Well,
but my dad told me about
They
it.
didn't really go into it in the movie, but there was this one character who they didn't outright say OCD, but she was OCD. And the thing was, she would like leave her house and lock the door, and then like be halfway to work, and then think, did I lock the door? And then have to go back and make sure, and it would happen like several times in a row. And it got to the point where the woman would like scrape her skin with the key as a mark to remind her that, yes, I did lock the door.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So that's more OCD.
Did she get a needful thing from said store?
It didn't turn out too good for her.
I bet not.
Yeah. It didn't turn out too good for any of the characters, to be honest.
Well, no.
It's a Stephen King story, but it was one of those Stephen King stories where pretty much everybody dies. So.
Was there a writer in it? An author?
No, it was one of his. It was one of his where it's cop. It's always either a writer or a cop.
Okay.
This one was a cop. Out of 15, see the other list I had read ahead of time. This one I think I read like the first two, and I was like, I'm going to save this for List Critics. So a lot of it was surprised to me. I actually enjoyed this one more. I'm going to say 15 out of 15 on this one.
I'm going to give this a perfect score as well.
Now, I have more of these work lists, but I want to pause here because we've been going for a while, and I wanted to make sure I got this in. And I just remembered this now, and there's something I got to say, actually. So I know that we talked earlier, and I had all this depressing shit to say, but I actually have something the opposite of depressing to say.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, come on now. I'm not that much of a bring down. Jesus Christ. I got problems, all right? I'm always listening to other people's shit. You can listen to my shit for once.
Yeah, I am more than
you were very
willing.
good. I know you're just being sarcastic, but
Yes,
you familiar with one of our frequent contributors, especially as of recent, sort of a new contributor, but frequently contributed list, Will Hamar.
Yes.
Okay, so I got the most wonderful message from Will. And I'm going to give, like, I'm not going to read it out loud, but I'm going to give the gist of it, is that apparently he had been very depressed. And he said that the list critics and me and you and Peyton and Tanya have really brought him out of it.
Oh.
Listening to the shows, and especially the fact that we did his lists and enjoyed them for the most part, and he's recently become a father.
Oh, wow! Congratulations,
he's recently
man.
become a father, and he named his son, I forget whether it was the first name or the middle name, but Jonathan, apparently after me. My name is actually just John, not Jonathan, but it's still like a big honor that there's a human being out there that is partially named after me. So I just want to say thank you very much, Will, for the message.
Thank you for listening.
I know that basically the message of the message is that he's thanking us, but really we're thanking you because list critics wouldn't exist without the fans. I mean, obviously, like we used to have so much fan input that we couldn't do anything but fan submitted lists.
I remember that, yeah.
Now it's a little less, but and we get to do like a lot of other things. It's not quite what it was when we first started, where it was all lists that I would find.
Yeah.
It's a mixture of both, and I like it best that way.
It definitely gives it more of a variety flavor.
Absolutely. Because honestly, as much as I love getting lists from people, how many fucking times can we do the top 20 Super Nintendo games?
Or top 100 games, top 100 rap CDs.
Okay, so yeah, the middle name is John. He sent me a picture of the kid. I mean, it's a newborn, so it looks like an alien, but you know. So the newest list critics fan, Jackson Jonathan Hamar.
Well, congratulations,
So,
sir.
Right.
And keep listening and tell your friends.
I mean, I do have a nephew that's named middle name John. But
from you?
Well, kind of, but I'm named after my dad.
Okay,
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? Because there's Bobby, his middle name. No, I'm sorry. Actually, no, okay. I fucked up. His middle name's Anthony. His middle name's Anthony. My middle name's Anthony.
Okay.
But my middle name Anthony is named after my grandpa Anthony, so it's kind of like I'm named after my grandfather, and then my nephew is Anthony in the middle name.
Right. Okay. I see.
I fuck it. My head's not screwed on today, you know. But anyway, just thank you, Will. And you did send me. Did you send me a new list or not? No, you didn't. Okay. I just wanted to see. I mean, he did send me a new list, but we did him with Peyton.
Well, you're with us in our hearts.
I just wanted to get that out there because I thought it was great. And he sent me a picture of the kid. Like, he's a newborn, so he kind of looks like an alien, but
an adorable alien, I'm sure.
Yeah, pretty much. like when you see like some like horrible mutant creature and then like it has like a baby and you're like, oh, but it's kind of cute.
It's cute in the weird way.
Yeah, like a pug.
Oh, pugs.
Yeah, I mean babies eventually become adorable, but when they're new, they are weird looking.
Like a day old.
Yeah, I mean this is a very very new kid. I could tell by the picture. He's just cleaned up. He's still got the little bracelet on and everything. Mm-hmm. This was taken in the hospital. So
boy!
So thank you, Will. I think I do have another list that somebody sent. Let's see. Oh no, okay, that we did. It was not read for some reason. Probably because I pulled it out of my email. But I wanted to get that in there.
Well, that was very good. I'm glad you brought that to our attention.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. I had another schoolish one here. Okay, this is a college-related list.
Oh boy.
It's professors sharing the dumbest thing a student has ever said to them.
Oh no.
17 of these. So, all right, number one. And by the way, the picture for the first one is Donald Trump. So.
Oh goody. Maybe this is from Trump University.
Yeah, I went to Trump University. No, it's just the fact that they're using it as a list for dumb things. I just like All right, number one. I overheard two students have the following conversation. Isn't it awesome we get to live right by the ocean? That's not an ocean, but it has a beach. If it's not the ocean, what is it? I don't know. I work in Chicago.
Oh, my head's just going to be hurting after this list.
That would be a lake, ladies.
Yeah. Just a tiny ocean.
Tiny
possibly
ocean.
With fresher water.
Anywhere where there's a beach, it's the ocean.
Yep.
Number two. Word for word fucking copying of an assignment, even down to the other guy's student number, spelling mistakes, and format.
That's just laziness. Like, I get that copying is lazy on its own.
You copied the student number? Because that is a, it's almost paradoxical. It is working hard at being lazy.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it.
Number three. TA here, my favorite, was a student who came up to the professor after class and asked if he could take the quiz a day late because it was on arm day and his arms would be too tired to write.
Oh, like never skip leg day, arm day. Oh, please.
That's a line if I ever heard one, right? He just wants an extra day to study. You know that.
Of course.
Number four, we were having a lecture for a course about cultural awareness. The lecturer asks, any questions? One guy raises his hand and asks, is the Murray River brown because Aborigines bathe in it?
Oh, that's just stupidity. I don't think it's really racism.
But that was in cultural awareness class.
Well, he'll be culturally aware definitely after that.
Wow. Number five. As you can tell, I haven't read this list from my reaction to that last one.
It's really good.
I only read the first one, the river thing, the lake thing, and then I was like, I got to do this on list. Number five. I was at a final one time, and the professor was counting the students. He then said, I printed off exactly enough tests, but there appears to be one more student than tests, so if you're here and have never seen my face, please leave. Someone got up and left.
Okay.
We are all very confused what the dude was thinking.
Yeah, like, I wonder what was going through his mind.
I'm just going to, take this final, even though I'm not in this class. You know what it probably was?
Huh?
He probably wanted to get what the questions were so he could feed it to someone else.
Oh, maybe do a little transaction,
Little-
possibly?
He was casing the joint, so to speak.
Yes, yes.
Number 6, I was a TA for Calculus 2 a few years back. One day, about 4 full weeks into the semester, a student came up to me during a quiz because he didn't know his class number. After a few questions back and forth, I asked, "Are you sure you're enrolled in Calculus 2 and not Calculus B? They're 2 different classes." He crumpled up the quiz and threw it in the trash on his way out. I never saw him again. Now, wait a minute. I know calculus is fucking confusing. But why would you have one calculus that's like 2, as in the second in a string of numbered calculus classes, and then one that's B, as in the second in a string of lettered classes?
Calculus isn't that complicated, but the class...
Well,
maybe...
I like math, but I stopped after trigonometry.
Oh.
So I never, So calculus looks like a foreign language. They might as well be Coptic, but... I mean, why would there be a Calculus 2 and a Calculus B? That's weird. That is confusing.
Here's what I'm thinking, that there's, Calculus 1, 2, etc. And then there's Calculus A1, A2, because maybe they just have so much calculus that they need to break it up into 2 completely different classes.
Okay, I could understand if they ran out of letters of the alphabet and then started with numbers, but you can't run out of numbers. You literally cannot run out of numbers.
But maybe it's like there's I don't know, maybe there's so many students taking calculus, they had to break it off into 2 totally different classes.
That's busy. But they're saying that it's not that there's too many classes. It's that Calculus 2 and Calculus B are different courses. That they're not the same thing. That's weird to me. I don't get it. All right, number 7. College course, students are asked to estimate the date in which Attila took over Europe. It wasn't a history class. The goal was showing that people's estimates are influenced by those of the people around them. Except that the first girl said 6,000. When the professor said 6,000, 6,000 what? And she replied, AD.
Oh, what?
We're not quite there yet.
Yeah, we got a little ways to go.
Not even halfway.
No.
Number 8. Here's a story from one of my husband's colleagues. After an exam, a student told the professor, "I didn't know the answers to the essay questions, so I made up my own essay questions and answered them." The professor replied, "That's the stupidest thing I ever heard, and when I go to lunch, I'm going to tell all my friends." Oh, A+ reply, sir.
At least you're putting it all out on Front Street.
Oh, wow. Okay, this next one, this is bound to be dumb because the caption picture is Professor Trelawney.
Oh, okay.
So, not me, but my aunt has taught college and high school level history courses. She once assigned a paper on something to do with the role of rhetoric in the Roman Empire. I don't remember the exact wording of her assignment, but it was something to this effect. A student completely and entirely missing the point of the assignment and possibly of the English language in general spun an elaborate paper of the fictional life and military and political career of a Roman soldier named Rhetoric.
Oh, no.
My aunt still has the paper somewhere. It's a hoot.
It's a hoot.
It must be. Like, oh, I can't find anything about this Rhetoric guy. I'll just make it up.
Have you ever completely 100% bullshitted through something like that?
Oh, yeah.
Even in high school or whatever?
No, it's more like junior high, but yeah, I've done that. And let me tell you, I could tell why they used Professor Trelawney, because it was like, like Harry and Ron were just like, let's just make up predictions.
Yeah.
Number 10. Oh, this one's got Kanye West on it.
Oh, no. He's the voice of the generation.
I was a TA in college psychology class, and one of the papers asked, how would you explain emotions to an alien from another planet who didn't have any? Some kid's answer was how he'd explain emotions to a Chinese person.
Ooh.
Well, that's just the right amount of ignorant to use Kanye as the header picture, let me tell you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, why? I wonder why Chinese. Why you go there?
Maybe he thinks they don't have emotions?
I don't know, man.
And I've had a number of Chinese friends, and they definitely have emotions.
Oh, yeah.
All right, number 11. TA for a glass blowing class my university has. I just got... wait, hold on a second. Does the glass blowing teacher need an assistant? It just seems
Well,
weird.
I don't know. Someone else to hold the class?
I mean,
I don't even know how it works.
At this point, how much of the tuition is going to just hiring extra people? Holy shit. All right, TA for a glass blowing class my university has. So my school is very STEM focused, like 70% engineering majors. So there isn't a lot of artistic talent among us, but some people are really bad. So I had one guy who was struggling, and no matter what I did, he just wasn't getting it. His pieces were generally very small, sloppy, asymmetrical, etc. So for his final, he hands me this beautiful vase, cool color, symmetric, nice size and weight. Well, the professor was looking it over and giving her compliments, except one problem. She had made it a few days before, and it went missing from the shelf where we put pieces while we wait for people to pick them up.
Oh.
So the guy tries to turn in a piece made by the actual professor.
Probably wasn't aware that the professor was the one who made it.
I'm confused because it says giving her compliments, but then it says guys. Which is it? But either way, that's an extra level of stupid, though. Like, oh, they totally won't know that they made this. But I love that they complimented it. Like, yes, this is an excellent piece. And just talking about how great they are.
Yes.
Amazing.
It would have been funny if they severely criticized it. Well, you could have done this.
Yeah, that almost would have been funnier, actually. Mm-hmm. Number 12. Not me, but a colleague. 2 students came in to see him during office hours with a complaint. Your exams discriminate against students who can't think.
What?
He swears that's a direct quote. I think they must
clearly.
Yeah, I think they must have meant something like can't think under pressure, but that's not how it came out. Out of morbid curiosity, he asked them what their major was. Answer, we're both pre-med. Yeah, you might want to rethink your plan, kids.
Oh, dear.
We can't think too good.
We can't think. Well, clearly they're,
Wow.
a couple of real winners there.
In pre-med.
Well, at least it's pre-med.
That's scary. That's scary. Number 13, not a yeah, but that's after college though. That's like, or I think that's graduate school.
Maybe they were just flustered. Who knows?
Oh, apparently, maybe they spent the whole night doing shots of mouthwash.
Maybe.
Yeah. Number 13, not a professor, but was a grad student marking assignments. Notice some printed papers that were included as a part of an assignment had a strange discoloration at the top. These were graphs generated by code you were to write, but since there was a sample code available, everyone's papers looked pretty much the same if the individual didn't feel like sprucing up their code, and most didn't really care about it. Anyways, so I see a couple of these discolored papers and then eventually discover the source of the discoloration. One student had written their name at the top of their paper and then whited it out before allowing his buddies to photocopy it before submitting it. You could get away with a lot, but that didn't end well for them.
A little whiteout. I don't know.
Yeah, cheating is like, we'll just leave the evidence right there. Like, why wouldn't
cheaters never prosper?
Why wouldn't you just print out a version of it that didn't have your name?
Yeah, like leave your name as the last thing and then go there.
So that is really dumb because that's very easily rectified. Number 14, not a professor but a graduate TA here. We gave an exam question where the students had to explain the difference between wild boars and domesticated pigs and how those traits reflect current theories of domestication. More than one student referred to the boar's tusks as horns, but one particular student wrote the whole answer about how pigs lost their antlers due to domestication.
What?
Pig antlers! As a note, I double-checked, and he was a native English speaker, too, so this was not an issue of translation.
A pig with antlers.
Well, they think they're called antlers. They're tusks, but... No.
That is crazy.
Yeah. Number 15. I was a college lab TA for many years, and we used to actually keep a running log of all the stupid stuff students would do. My favorite to this day, student. TA, my thermometer isn't working. Could you please take a look? I walk over and look at the setup. Try not to burst out laughing. That's a pipette, student, not a thermometer. He literally forgot what a thermometer looks like. Amazing.
Wait, did you say pipette?
Pipette. Those you know the they're kind of like probes. You know those long glass tubes.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
It's kind of like a syringe, but it's made out of glass, and you could like transfer a little bit of liquid and
Yeah, it's like a bigger syringe.
Yeah, kind of, but it's like long and thin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, God.
My thermometer's not working.
Shove it up a little further.
Oh. Number 16. Not so much stupid as much as it was goddamn hilarious. My wife and I, both professors, were crossing the quad after a meeting. A very frantic girl runs across campus yelling into the phone, "Just delete the really naked ones." It's my go-to ridiculous student story, and I never even knew her name.
I wonder how many times on campus that happens now. Somebody's
The
running
really
across.
naked ones.
Just the really naked. Like, well, this one just has the top, but it doesn't have my bush.
The really naked ones. Number 17. God, there is a story there that we are missing out on.
I know. Maybe the next one will be from her perspective.
Probably not. This is the last one here. Oh, let me count the ways. I had a student miss his midterm exam because, and I quote, "I got fired from my band and was too bummed out to come to school." I had another adult student, 35 years old, who pitched a fit during a meeting of students and teachers to figure out times for private lessons because he claimed we were disorganized. I got him calmed down enough to resume the scheduling, and then he went off again, ending with, "If this had been the Marines, someone would have been shot by now."
Whoa! This guy.
Then there was this fucking guy.
Yeah.
You guys don't know, but I earlier as we were connecting on Skype, I noticed that the text under Jesse's name was "this fucking guy," and he was unaware of it.
Probably happened during one of my lovely stupors.
Yeah. Then there was the student who thought he was too cool for school and used to wear mirrored sunglasses all the time, as in class, etc. One Monday, he didn't show up to class, and it turned out that over the weekend that he'd been at a party where there was alcohol, and it got raided by the cops. Since he was underage, he tried to run for it, but since he was wearing his shades, and it was at night, he ran face first into a fence instead.
Oh, the cops, cheese it.
And then he runs into a fence.
Donk.
Yeah. Wow. This was magical. No, out of 17 all day, son.
All day, up and down.
Now, this next one, I got a retail worker kind of thing here, and I know you work at Walmart. You don't deal with customers,
Not really, no.
but you probably hear about a lot of horrible customer stories, I'm sure. From your coworkers, perhaps, or
Usually they're just calling workers like, "Oh, this asshole," but it's never like an intricate story because this is at work, so they're already exhausted.
yeah, okay.
So probably if I was to ask them, like, sat them down, I could probably get some good stuff. Maybe I will.
Maybe, but anyway, this is retail workers reveal 30 times a rude customer was served sweet, poetic justice.
Oh, poetic.
I have read this whole thing. It is very good, and it is just basically each of these gets instant karma.
Oh, glorious.
Instant karma. Oh, glorious indeed. Okay. And by the way, not a small amount of these are in Canada, including this first one. Worked at a telecom in Canada. I am no longer an employee, thank God. Lady comes in with a broken iPhone, is demanding to get a new one for free. If you don't know, in Canada, the iPhone 6s is going for about $400 up front on a 2-year contract at a minimum $80 plan.
Yeah.
Wow, you guys got it rough. She had a good plan, but wanted it for free. She called up our loyalty team in store and spent the next 2 hours screaming at them. Finally, they agree to a deal, and she is getting it for $0. She looks at me and goes, "I do not want a case, and Apple Care is a scam." We work on commission, so this essentially meant I was getting nothing and ruining my numbers. She keeps telling me to hurry up through the setup, and I was trying to get them out of the store with everything transferred over and set up. Now, by the way, I want to pause here and say, you know where this is going, right?
She's probably going to drop it or something.
She grabs the phone.
It will break.
She grabs the phone and starts marching off saying I was a terrible employee. She gets 3 steps out of the store, drops the phone. Shattered screen and white screen of death. She ran back in asking what I can do. I shrugged and went, sorry, but AppleCare sure would have helped, eh?
Eh? Oh, that is poetic justice.
Now, I can understand not getting AppleCare or not getting a case, but get one of them.
Get some kind of protection, whether it be physical or mental.
I have a very good case on my phone. Well, it's not in the case right now, but because it's on the charger and it was overheating a little. But I have a very good case, and I have a protection plan. And everybody, when I got my phone almost 2 years ago, protection plans are for suckers. No, one day I was doing my exercise walk, and I tripped, and the phone went flying out of my hands and dropped. Now, normally the case would break, but it landed on a rock. On the screen, it broke the screen.
Oh.
They replaced it.
Because AppleCare.
Well, not AppleCare. It's Verizon.
Oh, okay. Oh.
I have a Samsung phone, but I have it's a protection plan, you know? So, yeah, instant karma right there. Number 2, working the window at McDonald's late night. Guy orders whatever and pulls up to the window. I'm cooking and handling the window, so I wasn't there when the customer pulled up. When I walked up to the window, I didn't see the fucker with trash in his lap. I opened the window to take his card/cash, and he throws a bag of trash at me. I take a step back, bothered that I just got trash thrown at me, and I watch his car speed off.
No.
I'm pissed, but there's nothing I can do. A couple seconds later, I hear a small bang of metal on metal. I walk to the lobby and look out. Guess what happened, Jesse?
Oh, he ran into trash cans.
No, it's better than that.
Garbage, the big garbage things.
No, he hit a cop car.
Oh, no!
Yeah. The douchebag slammed into a police cruiser who was about to loop around and use the drive-thru himself. Of course, I also went out to tell the officer what just happened inside. Hey, by the way, this guy just threw trash at me.
Yeah, just the icing on the shitty cake.
Yeah, he's getting arrested. All right, number 3. Guy comes in and is being a complete asshole, not wanting to show ID to buy beer even though he looked 20 at the oldest, constantly yelling and swearing. He also had parked in the handicap spot despite not having handicap tags or plates on his car. One of my regular customer, who's a sheriff's deputy, was also in the store. Saw how the guy was acting, saw where he was parked, went out, got his ticket book, and wrote the guy a ticket. Guy realized he wasn't getting his beer, went outside to find out he was getting ticketed. I could not stop laughing.
He just loses all over the place.
At least he didn't get towed.
Yeah.
But he probably would have deserved that too.
Ah, well.
Number 4. I worked at a restaurant that was very popular for brunch, and Mother's Day was probably our busiest day of the year, as it would be in any restaurant. I had a customer call the evening before and ask for a table for 6, and he was incredibly rude when I informed him that this would simply be an impossibility. He kept getting more and more worked up, asking me to speak to my manager. At first, I didn't want to pass the phone over, and my manager wasn't the nicest guy, and we were in the middle of a busy dinner shift. But my manager came up behind me and demanded to know why I'd been on the phone for so long. I was like, fuck it. This customer isn't going to listen to me anyways, and gave the phone to Mac. Mac asked how we could help, listened for about 15 seconds before telling the dude something like, so you're tying up my hostess in the middle of dinner even though she's already told you nicely that we can't fit you and your goddamn family in the night before our busiest day of the year? Fuck you, buddy. And he hung up the phone.
Whoa!
Well, the guy deserved that. I mean, damn.
Yeah, I guess so. Wow.
Okay.
Harsh.
Number 5. Now, do you know what I don't know if you have those in Canada. Do you have consignment shops?
Consignment?
Okay, see, I thought it is kind of a very American thing. Consignment shop is where if you had an item you wanted to sell, you would give it to the store to sell for you, and they would like take a piece of it.
They take a cut?
They take a cut, yeah. It's kind of like if you don't want to do eBay, you don't want to ship it or deal with any of that, you would just give it to the consignment shop.
You guys do the work.
Exactly. Currently at a consignment shop. We have 2 stories of furniture, and it's only things that people bring in for us to sell or for some of the profit. A lady came in with her son. He was 5 or 6, and she looked around. We had 2 bar stools, and she came up to the desk and said, I'd like to order 2 more of these bar stools. I smiled and said, we can't do that. These belong to someone, and that's all they had to consign with us. She looks back and says, well, why the fuck can't you order ones like this? I'm sure you can find them online. I clench my teeth and smile again, saying, ma'am, we really can't do that. If you'd like to go online, you are more than welcome to look for yourself, but I can't help you, and I'm sorry. She huffed and started walking to the door, talking about getting me fired, making a horrible review of this place. She then got a nice big face full of door. It's a push door, and it was locked. She looks at me and screams, why the fuck is this locked? I have no idea. Then her son looks at her and says, Mommy, you were mean to that lady, and I don't want to go till you say you're sorry. Best kid ever.
Aww.
Well, at least the kid knows what's right and wrong. Because sometimes this kind of behavior, the kids take this shit up, you know?
Mm-hmm, but luckily the kid knew better.
Yeah. He's probably got at least one good parent, you know what I mean?
I just like the idea of her smoking herself in the face.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Number 6.
Ow.
Number 6, it wasn't the customer, it was the manager. She was awful. She was rude, intentionally picked out favorites and gave them presents in front of everyone, even when they didn't like her and tried to avoid it. Wow. Imagine being such a bitch that you have favorites and you try to give these people presents in front of other people to make other people jealous, and the people that you're giving the presents to don't like you.
That's just, you're going about this the whole wrong way, man.
Yeah, it's way more complicated than it needs to be. Messed up schedules on purpose for people she didn't like, etc., etc. Worst manager ever. So there was this huge storm coming in, and people were really worried about it, like the news telling people to stay home, other businesses closing, etc. So it was up to her either to keep her store open or close it. Of course, she kept it open. Because schools closed, only half of our scheduled employees showed up. The rest called in, and she called her favorites and told them they didn't have to come in. Well, as like 5 of us who showed up were standing there watching out the front window, there were 0 customers. She starts yelling at us, threatening to write us all up, and we're like, there's no one here. All the work is done. We're watching the wind bend trees over and worried about if we're safe or we'll be able to get home. Right about this time, we hear a super loud crashing noise. Ka-chunk, 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 wham! As the industrial air conditioner on top of the building got blown off.
Whoa!
That's a hell of a wind gust, huh? Like, it rolled along the roof, then went flying into the parking lot, right onto her car. It was so perfect, it was surreal. Dead center, smashed her car flat. Like, if she had been in it, she would have died. And it only happened because she parked right up by the building where we specifically had been told not to park. All our cars were out in the farthest corner of the lot. We later found out her car wasn't paid off. It was some stupidly expensive BMW or something, and her insurance didn't cover the damage because it was an act of God.
Womp womp.
Number 7. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something there?
I was going to say, even though you got to kind of keep quiet because the boss is right there,
Yeah.
deep inside you're like, yes.
Oh, they're doing a dance. Now, I almost got to say, though, that what happened was not a direct repercussion of her bitchiness, though, so I wonder if she learned anything from this.
Probably
it was
not.
really more
probably
that
just
she just suffered, But
yeah, there was just
it still counts as poetic justice, though. Number 7, working drive-through at a Tim Hortons. This is Canada as well. And some asshole in a massive black truck parked too far away from the window and expected me to lean super far out to give him his change. He was real impatient and just really rude. I just shook my head, so he gets all pissed off and finally gets out of the truck, and the door shut behind him. It was locked, and he sat there for like 15 minutes, and we had to call a tow truck. Sure, it pissed off everyone behind him, but at least they were all pissed off at him and not us. He acted like it was the biggest embarrassment of his life.
Well, serves him right for parking like a dick.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Hold on a second. I gotta reach behind here and... Okay, sorry. The The power cord to my monitor sometimes gets a little loose and it starts rebooting itself. I was doing that instead of, because it's not quite in there enough. It happens when I tilt the monitor a lot.
Jam it in.
Jam it in, indeed.
Mm.
Number 8, warehouse worker here. Customers have to show a card to shop, and even though we're not technically a grocery store, we don't allow pets. One dude tried to power walk past the employee at the entrance door holding a big pit bull puppy on a leash. We stopped him and told him he couldn't bring his dog inside, and he lost it. He's our best customer, and he's here 5 times a week, and he owns stock, blah, whatever. He demanded to know why we don't allow dogs. We explained it's a food safety issue, especially with an untrained puppy. At this point, our manager came over and just waved him through because no backbone, customer's always right. Well, not even 5 minutes later, the dog squats in the middle main aisle and pees, followed by poop.
Oh, God.
The man turned so red and dragged the dog toward the exit, abandoning his groceries.
Oh.
We stopped him and asked him nicely to please clean up after his pup. That's the reason we don't allow them, sir.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I leave the dog at home.
Yeah. There's arm candy.
Don't bring the dog to the grocery store. Don't bring him into the grocery store. Don't leave him in the car. Just leave them at home.
Yeah, they'd be happier there anyway.
Yeah. Number 9, I was a server during college at an upper-scale restaurant. I rarely had problems with customers and am overall genuinely friendly. I had a table for 4 with only 3 patrons there, an older couple with their adult daughter. This one is amazing, by the way. I served them beverages and was told we were to wait for patron number 4, the son. After 40 minutes and 2 refills go by, I say, I bet you guys are starving by now. Would you like me to bring you our lettuce wraps? They're small enough to not ruin your appetite, or are we still waiting for my buddy? The father said, we're going to wait, and he isn't your buddy. Frankly, you don't know him. He's a hard-working man and will be respected. Yeah, what a dick, right? You're right, sir. Forgive me. He actually has a real job.
Oh!
I understand, sir. It won't happen again. When I come back for refill number 3, the son was arriving. The son happened to be an old high school friend. Before taking a seat, he gave me a big hug right in front of his dad. I looked at the father and said, small world, I can't believe you're my old buddy's family. I'm surprised we never met before. I'm spending so much time with him and I spending so much time together in high school. It's too bad our restaurant didn't serve crow.
Oh, time to eat it.
Yeah. Nom 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 nom. And you know what? What's funny is they can't retaliate. What are you doing?
Sorry, washing my hands before eye drops.
Oh, okay. They can't retaliate in any way.
No.
Because it's like the son's best friend. All right, number 10. I work at a hotel's front desk. One day we had an Armenian guest who was claiming his room was not up to his standards and decided to make a big deal about it the next morning. He was so rude to the point of almost making a coworker cry of desperation because she refused to compensate the night as his argument seemed really fake and invalid. Once he saw he was going to get nothing back, he threw his receipt on the floor and power walked his way out into a very clean glass door that was recently cleaned. His sunglasses broke, causing him a small cut on the upper part of his nose. My coworker and I couldn't stop laughing the second he walked out, even more mad.
Boom.
Oh.
Have you ever walked into a glass door?
I can't say that I have.
I definitely have at top speed, mind you.
Well, you have. I mean, my vision's not amazing, but yours is way more impaired.
This was when I had one of my corneal transplants that I could actually see fairly well.
That doesn't mean you're used to looking at things.
No, just looking at things. Yeah, this is true, but I was walking top speed, and I thought, oh, I could just walk right outside. It's one of those, open concept things. Nope. Just boom, and I fell right on my ass.
Maybe I've just never come across a glass door clean enough to think that it's not there,
This was when I was browsing universities to go to, so.
Number 11. It was the best day of my life. I work in a small cafe. It was about 10:30 a.m. on a weekday morning, nice and quiet. In comes this woman, must be about 58 to 62-ish, and her husband and their grandchild. The wee boy was adorable, and the grandmother was all over him. He sat beside her, and she constantly talked to him, ignoring her husband. Everything is fine. Someone takes their order, and then I go to take stuff over. The wee boy's milk is ready first. Just milk in a styrofoam cup with a lid and a straw. He must be 2 or 3, and that's what we do for kids that age. I take it over, and she looks at me like I've put a turd on the table. She says she wanted it in a cup, and explained the only cups we have are coffee mugs. They're heavy for a small child, and it's easy to spill stuff out of them. She says she wants it anyway, so I go back to the bar area. When I go back, another girl is taking over a latte and another coffee. The woman goes mental. Do you not use cups in here? Because she got a latte glass, so we bring that back too. Just as I'm about to take the milk in a mug back, her sandwich is ready, so I take it over with the milk. She looks at the sandwich like it's the last straw. That's not chicken, that's revolting. I explain that, as it says on the menu, it's chicken and Parmesan mayonnaise. Ooh, doesn't sound very nice. She shakes her head like I'm an idiot and just thrusts it back at me. I ignore her. Don't ask if she wants something else, I just walk away. Then I hear a yell and a crash. The wee boy picked up the mug of milk. It must have been too heavy because he dropped it, soaking both himself and the grandmother and smashing the cup on the floor. Sure, we had to clean it up, but my smugness was as close as I dared to get to I told you so.
That is textbook poetic justice.
Yeah, but it's almost like not enough happened. Like, it would have been great if because the kid wasn't at fault. It would have been great if all the milk got on the lady.
Oh, yeah, that's true. The kid shouldn't have had to suffer.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he was barely aware of it anyway. Number 12. I was a cashier at a grocery store. The guy with the full cart bitched and bullied employees until he was allowed to use my express checkout because he didn't want to wait in the regular lines. And on my line, I had only 2 people in it. As soon as my floor manager allowed him, and he had his cart unloaded, a tiny old lady with a walker who could barely stand got in line behind him. Everyone gave him dirty looks. He realized he fucked up and tried to make a joke about it. Dead silence. I hope his saved time was worth being an asshole. You know, in my experience, and this drives me a little crazy, grocery stores will not enforce the express lane rules. Like if it says 10 items or less, you'll see people go through way more than 10, and they may not be happy about it, but they don't seem to have the ability to enforce that. And that drives me fucking crazy. Why even have that rule if you're not going to make people follow it?
Would you have like a cutoff? Like, would there be like 11 items? 12 items? Well,
maybe. I mean, if it's like 12, 11, that's not that big deal. But if it's 30,
oh my God!
You know what I'm saying? I mean,
who goes in the express line with full groceries?
A lot of people. Number 13. Lady lays into me for the amount of the bill, called me every bad word in the English language, says we overbilled her. She requested I go through her order. Come to find out we underbilled her by $1,000 due to a misplaced zero. The silence on the other line was so beautiful.
Oh, wow. Wait, what kind of meal is this?
Well, it didn't say meal. I kind of feel that might have been like a phone bill kind of situation.
Oh, okay.
You know, yeah.
I don't know. I was just still thinking about restaurants and shit.
Yeah. Okay, that's actually the last one on here that I've read. So after this, everything's new to me. Number 14. I worked in this fancy clothing store in this posh town at the seaside. It was a busy Saturday when suddenly a very pretentious girl walked in with her boyfriend, ignoring us as we greeted her and even giving my colleague a demeaning look. She went on to browse around the store and eventually took some clothes with her into the changing booth. After a while, I noticed a heated conversation arising from the booth between her and her boyfriend. I see the boyfriend running back and forth between the booth and some clothing racks. In the meanwhile, me and my colleague were being chased away by her. She refused any help and didn't leave the booth, as if we were a couple of Ebola patients. So my colleague and I continue working and helping other customers. I was working the register when suddenly the girl turns up next to me, completely pissed off, and she starts ranting about how our store/band really should work on the fitting of our clothes and how we were complete fuck-ups. I was completely caught off guard, and right when I wanted to ask her what the exact problem was, I see my colleague looking at the girl while bursting out this horribly loud laugh, tears and all. What had happened was the girl had taken with her a clothing piece she thought was a strapless dress. Well, it wasn't a dress. It was a skirt. The girl had tried on all sizes and got completely fed up, yelling at us that her and her boyfriend because the freaking dress won't fit.
Oh no!
So she's got this skirt up around her tits.
Yeah.
Wow. So she walked out in a crowded store making a scene with a skirt pulled up to her tits. Exactly like I just said. I have to admit, after she left, I laughed till crying.
Oh, that would have been a beautiful scene.
Wow. Amazing. I'm so glad that I stopped and get to experience that live here on List Critics. Number 15. Worked at Best Buy for longer than I'd like to admit. One week we had an advertised clearance sale on a discounted item. Guy comes in already irritated because his GPS took him to the wrong place. Totally my fault, right? He wants to buy the clearance item, but we're out of stock, and since it's discontinued, I can't order him a new one. As was company policy at the time, I offered to sell him the display unit at an even greater discount. He immediately flips out, starts screaming and cursing about bait and switch. What? No, that's not what bait and switch is.
It's just he's using a buzzword.
That's it. That's them trying to cut you a break, actually. Threatening to call the cops because he thinks it's illegal and getting in my face like he's going to hit me. This guy is half my size and dressed like Woody Allen and Annie Hall. The textbook definition of physically non-threatening. So I laughed at him and told him to go ahead and call the cops. The police hear his insane tone and agitated demeanor and immediately send an officer to remove him from the store. Correct.
Humiliated.
Number 16. Worked at a gas station some odd years ago, and the week before it had been snowing a lot, so the gas tankers got delayed due to safety reasons. A customer came in a pretty new Mercedes-Benz, something like SLS 400 or something, and wanted the premium gas. I explained to him that the tankers are delayed and we currently don't have any premium gasoline, and that he could try the next station down the block. He started swearing at me personally like I has control over the gas delivery. He sped off, tire screeching, only to have his rear tire hit the curb. His rim got fucked up really bad, and he couldn't drive it. I laughed at him. As you should. As you should.
Appropriate response, world.
I mean, you know, like, it's not like the guy told you, no, you have to have regular gas. He told you, well, you could try the next one up.
Yeah, he even gave you one out.
Like if literally there's another gas station up the block, it's not that big of an inconvenience to do that, you know what I mean?
Within visual distance.
Unless you have literally run out of gas as you pulled up to the shit, it shouldn't be a problem. Number 17. I worked at a Pier 1 Imports as a teenager outside Birmingham, Alabama. Do you have Pier 1 up there?
Yeah, it's pretty much import stuff.
Yeah. I just wanted to know if I had to explain it because it's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
My mom loves Pier 1 now. I got her a gift card there once and she was over the hill. She bought
It's a mom store.
Totally is. She bought some wooden fish or something. This was about 20 years ago. And I gave her a $50 gift card. So next time I went, I wanted to see what she got, and she shows me a wooden fish.
You could be like, I could do that.
I'm like, what else did you get? She's like, that's it. I'm like, that cost $50. Okay. As long as it makes you happy, but holy shit, all right?
Yeah.
All right. This is about 20 years ago, and transgender folks weren't on my radar at all. Anyway, it's near Christmas. I'm at the register with a line of customers waiting. There's a woman huffing about something near the end of the line. By the time she gets up to pay, she's being very loud about the customer behind her. It's a man! It's a pervert in a dress! The person behind her was very obviously born a man, but was in fact wearing a dress. It didn't really faze me as much as this woman who was doing her best to shame this person, who looked very hurt and embarrassed. And this lady was doing it while buying Christmas decorations, no less. Anyway, she's trying to convince me how wrong and how gross it is, but this person shouldn't be in the store, etc. Are men not allowed in Pier 1? I mean, it's not a man, it's a trans woman, but assuming it is, who cares?
I mean, I know I said it was a mom store, but I didn't mean literally.
I mean, I was able to go in there to get the gift card. They didn't be like, now you filthy man, get out of here with your beard.
We don't serve your kind
Yeah,
here.
we don't serve your kind here. Dude, now it's Star Wars quotes today, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's like the third one.
Yeah.
Okay, and this lady was doing it while buying Christmas decorations, no less. Anyway, she's trying to convince me how wrong and gross it is, as this person shouldn't be in the store. As she's ranting, I run her credit card. Declined. I try again. Declined. I have rarely in my life experienced the satisfaction as I did at that moment, looking up at her, smiling, and saying that her card had been declined. Her face got red, and she really just went off. That's impossible. Try it again. You're doing it wrong. At this point, the whole store looking at her, I try again and very loudly say it is in fact declined. She stormed out of there, knocking over a poor Santa statue by the door. I shared a grin with the customer behind her, which was the transgender person. That
serves her right.
She was already making an ass out of herself, but it's nice to know that she made more of an ass out of herself.
Declined.
Declined. Number 18. Worked at a... let's try this again.
Okay.
Worked on USMC base in the store that sold the uniforms. We had like two... The Marines have to buy their own uniforms? Really?
You'd be surprised, I guess. I don't
We
know.
have the largest military budget in the world, but they got to buy their own uniforms. All right. I see it.
Pinching pennies.
We had like 2 people walk in that morning. I was slacking off, trying to take a nap inside a clothes rack.
Nice.
A grunt walked into my section to browse camo fatigue covers. Hats, they call them covers. He didn't know I was there, so I just kept quiet. Watched him swap out his nasty old cover with a new one and walk out. Brought it up to my boss, and that's when I noticed the guy's name and number were written inside, which were relayed to the MPs. Oops.
Oh man, I guess all their gear, they have their name branded into it.
Well, I guess he must have wrote his name on it, like.
It's my hat. Don't take my hat.
Yeah. So in case it's lost, they could find the person, or in case he swapped it for a new one and stole the hat. Military police don't fuck around either, man.
I bet not.
Like, normal police, like civilian police, can be real assholes. You know? Imagine that level of OCD, so to speak, mixed with the fact of actual discipline.
Oof.
I don't fuck around with that shit, man.
Yeah, that's rough.
Number 19. Let me preface this story by saying I work near Baltimore. Yeah, so I manage a plus-size women's clothing store. My heart goes out to you, person. I just heard so many stories about that kind of place.
Okay.
But because, even though it's a plus-size store, apparently women who go into these stores always underestimate what size they are.
I've actually been in those stores with a couple of my friends before, and there have been 1 or 2 more than heated arguments. Not from my friends, not at all, but from other people.
You just witness it. Yeah. It's kind of like the Al Bundy effect. I know I'm a size 6.
With the shoe store.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We actually get a surprising amount of, let's call them non-traditional customers. Guys who need a dress for a charity show, cross-dressers, gender-fluid people, transgender women, and drag queens aren't unheard of. So a drag queen comes into the store to pick up some shoes they ordered online. They must have been either coming from or going to a show because they were still in full makeup. I get their name, and during our conversation, another customer walks in. I call out a greeting and say something like, "I'll be right with you." I go to the back room. It takes a minute to go through all the web orders. I find the one I need, and what are you doing?
Oh shit! Is the mic picking that up?
That is loud AF.
Sorry, that's a bag with my eye drops. I was really trying to be quiet. I swear.
Yeah, but it's like having a bag of chips at the movies. The more quiet you try to be, the worse it is.
Yeah, especially if it was a Sun Chips bag.
Oh, well, they got rid of the really noisy bags.
All right, I'll try to be quieter.
Yeah, sorry. It's no big deal. It was loud. I call out a greeting and say, "Oh yeah, I read that already." I find the one I need, and I'm on my way back to the counter when the new customer throws her arm out to stop me from passing. She then says, "I am a new customer, and I've been here for 20 minutes, and no one has spoken to me." A, I greeted her when she came in, and B, she'd only been in the store for 5 minutes at that point. I resigned myself to groveling, but before I could say anything, the drag queen stomps over, glares at the customer, and says, "Bitch, she said hello to you." Complete with sassy finger snaps.
Ah, yes.
The queen then made a big show of thanking me for getting her package and gave me a big sparkly kiss on the cheek before she left.
Awesome.
The other customer sheepishly paid for her Spanx and didn't make eye contact when I told her to have a good day.
Spanx. What a name for those things.
What are Spanx?
Aren't they like, I don't know, like those stretchy pants?
I'm Googling. Oh, they're leggings. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an awkward name. That's an awkward name for them. They actually look like the female equivalent of long johns from what I'm seeing in Google image search.
I used to have long johns. No, I don't anymore.
They're comfortable, though.
Yeah.
Number 20. I used to work at a bank branch. A client was being very disrespectful to a female staff member. Why would you disrespect the people that handle your money?
It's like disrespecting the people who handle your food.
But perhaps even worse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sorry, we lost your money.
They can really fuck you over. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
all they have to do is call the IRS and be like, I think this guy might be cheating on his taxes. And then your shit's frozen.
Yeah.
Okay, literally 2 minutes later, a bank was robbed at the teller he was using. His $5,000 was taken right off the counter before it could be negotiated. Eventually, it was covered by the bank, but at the time, I can imagine him being worried.
Oh.
Well, yeah, he probably had like a gun rubbed in his face, so I could imagine he was very worried.
Yeah, I'm sure anybody at that time might have been a little, you get a little pee in your pants.
Number 21. In the auto repair business, we must deal with a lot of passive aggressiveness from people displeased with having to shell out money for their cars. Once a couple arrived to pick up a car which was parked in the first spot nearest the street. The husband was great and had approved the needed repairs in stride. The wife was a raging bitch, debating every line item of the estimate, asking pointless questions, demanding a cheaper price, threatening to take the car elsewhere, or just get a new one. Anyway, the man made his way toward the office, but the woman made a beeline for the car, found the keys stashed inside, threw the plastic seat cover to the wind, and started up and drove off before the bill had been paid, cutting the turn too sharp and scraping the entire passenger side of the car badly on the low concrete planter.
That's going to be easy to find.
Yeah. I saw this happen. The husband didn't. Never saw them again.
Good heavens.
Wow.
This lady was out of control.
There's going to be some kind of argument later on.
I should say.
Number 22, worked at a liquor store. Oh, my heart goes out to you as well.
Really?
I have to say, the liquor store that I occasionally patronize here in town, they're such wonderful people, you know. But when you're dealing with a customer base that are there specifically to buy alcohol, you're going to be dealing with some alcoholics, and sometimes they can get pretty fucking crazy.
I don't know. The LCBO that I go to often, everybody in there seems rather pleasant, like they're in there for their stuff and then they get out.
Yeah, for the most part, that's what I experienced, but I've heard some stories.
That sucks.
Yeah. Customer came in extremely intoxicated, couldn't really speak, stumbling everywhere. See, that's a big thing too, is when they come in already drunk. We refused to sell to him, and he flipped out. Ended up kicking him out with the threat of calling the police. He went down the street to another store, and as he walked back past our store, he yelled some very mean things at us, and immediately tripped, shattering the bottle he brought on the sidewalk. What a glorious sight. Oh, and I hope it was expensive.
Yes.
Like, I hope it was like a bottle of like the Macallan or something, you know, like.
But I don't know. Knowing that situation is probably cheap shit.
Well, you're probably right, and actually, I kind of take back what I said because expensive liquor shouldn't be wasted; it should be enjoyed. But,
what is the kind you mentioned?
Macallan.
Macallan. What is that?
It's a Scotch. It's usually about $90 a bottle.
God.
Yeah. The only place that you could get Macallan cheap is if you're on an airplane.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's weird, because normally things are expensive on an airplane.
Not booze.
Huh.
They like you to get not drunk, but nicely pissed, so to speak.
A little toasted?
Yeah, a little toasted, because you're calm, you're probably not going to chill, you're probably not going to start screaming about terrorists or whatever, you know.
Or bombs.
Oh, yeah. Number 23, standing at the counter of the pizza place I work at, lady storms in and slams a pizza on the counter. This isn't the fucking pizza I ordered. What the hell are you going to do about that? I look at the pizza, and then at my buddy Nick, and then turn back to her and say, nothing. Ooh, savage. She then goes... I love it, though. She then goes on a long rant telling how we are going to be fired, how stupid and incompetent we are. She actually told me I must be retarded. Then asked why the hell we weren't going to do anything. I said, because that pizza came from the pizza shop across the street.
Oh, my God.
I think she actually managed to shrink in size and slink out looking so pathetic and beaten that I almost felt bad for laughing till tears dripped down my face as she slunk off.
You got to look at her and say, are you new? Jeez.
That reminds me of this. I saw this sort of prank video once where these people were going to Burger King and ordering, like Whoppers or whatever. And somehow the people that worked there would put like a McDonald's burger in their bag.
Oh.
And then they'd come back and they'd be like, this isn't what I ordered. This is the wrong thing. And they'd be like, this is from McDonald's. We don't sell this. Anyway, number 24. Oh, I got to click to the next page. There we go. Worked at Best Buy 10 or so years ago. This happened on Black Friday.
Oh,
wow.
Boy.
That's rough. Most of the customers were in bad mood since they've been waiting hours to come in and stand in more lines. But this one lady was a raging bitch. After yelling at everyone in my department about how she needed the laptop that was on sale despite it being sold out, she proceeds to tell us that she'll have the store closed down because she works with the city and knows the fire marshal and we have too many people in the store. So she calls him, we tell her to leave, and nothing happens to the store. However, we called them as well to report what she'd said, and she got fired from her job for abuse of power.
Dead.
Okay, number 25. This could go on forever, and I would be happy.
These are good.
I just want to say how much I'm enjoying this particular list especially. But the list from this site, we might have to do more in the future. Like, this episode is pretty much going to be all of it. And by the way, the reason, guys, that I don't have submitted lists is because we did List Critics so late that there wasn't enough time for people to send new lists before we were recording List Critics 2. So
that happens, yeah.
So I went and I got a lot of good lists. So, number 25. More than a few decades ago, I worked at Denny's. I had 2 male customers that decided to dine and dash, got their license plate number and reported it to the cops, and jokingly mentioned that they didn't even tip. Later that night, they got pulled over for DUI.
Whoa.
Cops recognized the license plate number from the report, brought them both back to the restaurant, and forced them to pay the bill. After he was done paying, the cop just stood there and looked at him and said, well, the guy sheepishly handed me my tip.
Nice.
Well, then.
That's a good cop.
Well, it's because it was decades ago. It's before they just hired anybody, you know?
Before they hired bullies.
They used to have standards. Number 26. I used to return customer credit cards by setting them on the square podium used to swipe them so they ended up right by them when I swung the screen around for them to sign and such. I don't understand what that means, but all right.
Yeah, okay.
One lunch rush takeout restaurant, one lady decided this was an offense of the highest order and yelled at me for not placing it directly in her hand. I stupidly engaged her and tried to explain that I did that for everybody, which got me a continued lecture about how she is the customer and good service is doing what she wants and so on. There were about a dozen people eating at our tables and 5 people in the line behind her, so she was straight hamming it up, making sure everyone saw her putting me in my place. Unfortunately for her, the dramatic performance proved to be a bit too distracting, and she stormed out without her infant.
Oh!
This was, of course, noticed by pretty much everyone in the building since she had just made herself the center of attention. One of the customers even had to run after her and stop her from driving away. For the record, there is no real subtle way to pick up a full-sized child carrier. You know what? To be honest, in that situation, I would not have gone after her. I would have just called the cops and been like, some crazy lady just abandoned her child at my restaurant.
Yeah, charge her with child abandonment.
Exactly, yeah. Because how could you be so distraught that you left your child?
You figure that's priority, number uno.
Especially a little baby. Holy crap. Number 27. All right, bank worker. I had a customer throwing a fit once. Says he sees a charge for $50 on his account and blames us for not keeping his account secure. Throws a fit that rages on for half an hour.
Whew.
Turns out he forgot he used $50 for a mail cam service.
What?
Gay porn.
Can service?
Where cam service is like if you there's these sites where you pay them money and they'll have like a live cam person.
Oh, cam! I thought like a tin can.
No,
you were
camera
talking-
like cam whore.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh, in
now.
this case it was for a guy.
For dude
Yeah.
cams, that's fine. Yeah, whatever.
This was discovered when my customer service rep looked at his account and Googled who the charge was from.
Oh boy. Oh.
To be honest, that's more embarrassing for the employee than the customer because they had
Why?
because they had to Google it and porn came up at work.
Yeah, but this was all stemming from the customer, of course.
I
The
forgot, I
it's funny.
forgot I had to look at the penis. I don't know. The reason that one kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth is it's almost kind of like gay shaming the guy. Even though he's an asshole, it's still not right,
But think of it this way: if it was, let's say,
if it
female
was,
porn.
yeah, like it wouldn't have been on this list probably.
But it's the fact that it's still porn.
I guess so.
I think is what it is.
It just seems weird to me. I get a bad feeling about that one. Number 28, used to sell mattresses, which no one really wants to buy. No one's jacked about buying. They do it because they have to. I get it. Everyone that works there gets it. One Saturday, this cranky old dude comes in, and before anyone can greet him, he's complaining about literally everything. We're trying to help him, but he shoos away anyone who approaches him. Of course, then he turns around to complain about no one helping him. Dude is old. Like I said, he can't get around well. We recommend he not lay down on all foam mattresses if he won't let anyone help him up. He says something rude and blows us off. He hobbles over to a foam mattress, one that is right next to a wall. This wall also has a TV display sticking out about 8 inches from the wall, and it constantly plays ads. Old man lays down on the bed and immediately hates it. He sits up and realizes it will be difficult for a man in his condition to get off the bed, but he won't ask for help. Dude launches himself off the mattress and straight into the TV display. My manager loses it. The guy tries to bark at us, but everyone else is too busy trying not to laugh, so he gives up and cranky walks out of the store.
Oh my God.
Well, if you won't accept help, holy shit. I mean, they were trying to be nice. Jeez.
But you get shooed away so many times, you aren't gonna get the help.
Well, he wasn't asking.
Yeah.
Number 29. I work at Starbucks. One day, as I was working the drive-thru... Starbucks has a drive-thru?
Hey, Tim Hortons has a drive-thru.
I've never seen a Starbucks with a drive-thru.
Yeah, they're probably around.
One day, as I was working the drive-thru, we were having longer than normal wait times as we were short-staffed. This one guy gets up to the window in a huff and starts yelling at me / complaining about his wait. I apologize and tell him his total. He literally throws his credit card at me, and it bounces off the bottom of the window directly underneath his truck. We look at each other for a second, then he sends his daughter out of the truck to look for it. I inform him that it's right under their truck, so he moves the truck up a bit, gets out, picks it up, and hands it to me softly without making eye contact as he is squeezing himself between the tail end of his truck and the wall of the building, being pretty embarrassed as everyone behind him is watching. It was pretty satisfying.
Yeah. Not as severe as some of these other ones, but still pretty funny.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a severe behavior, so not a severe consequence, I guess.
True.
Number 30. I work at an auto parts store. This one guy stole some $60 headlights and literally sprinted out the door. We went to look outside and try to get his license plate just in time to see him speed off, hit a curb, and blow out his tire. Called the cops, and the dumbass got arrested and had to have his car towed. Hey, but, when he gets out of jail and he needs to get a new rim for his car, he knows where to go.
Yeah.
They got it right there, right?
It's all, within distance.
Oh, boy. Oh, was that the... Oh, yeah, that was number 30. That was the last
Number
one.
30.
I'm disappointed that it's over.
Yeah. It's all over.
29.
What do we do with our lives now?
Well, we got other lists, but 29 is what I'm going to... I'm gonna.
I'm giving it a full 30. I'm not as
I'm
I'm not as salty about that porn
It's
one.
not
as
that
you
I'm
are.
salty. I just get a weird vibe from it.
I don't get the weird vibe. I get it.
Okay, well, this next one is police officers revealing there's 15 of them, revealing the stupidest thing they've ever seen or heard of a criminal doing.
Oh, okay. So this is World's Dumbest Criminals. All right.
Kinda, yeah. And we've had lists like that in the past. They're always entertaining. Like, I love that, like, hey, somebody stole my weed. Could you, like, find it for me? Stuff like that. Let's see, number 15. Whoa, how did I wind up at number 12? Wait, hold on. Okay. Oh, it actually starts at number 1, and I'm on the wrong end of the list.
Whoops.
Okay. Sorry about that. Number 1. A 911 call from some little kids playing on the phone. The father was asleep, and they kept trying to wake him up when the 911 operator asked to speak to an adult. He kept yelling, "No, leave me alone." Now we have to send someone since we can't verify there's no emergency. Upon arrival, officers ask for ID, and the mother has a warrant.
Oh, no.
Oops.
I wonder what for. Damn.
It could have been skipping court or something like that.
Skipping stones.
Skipping Number 2. I won't even say why I'm laughing because it's such a stupid reference, but...
Skipping stones.
Oh, you are making that reference, you asshole!
Ninja Turtles, man.
It was such a terrible fucking video. Number 2, one of my coworkers was a passenger in a car. The car got pulled over for some reason. The driver had a suspended license. The cop asked my coworker if he had a license to drive the car. Sure did. Handed the cop his license. Oops, he had a warrant for failure to appear.
I wonder how many of these we're gonna get. Like, oh, by the way, I have a warrant for something worse.
I think that's the last one of those. Number 3, USA here. You know those jury summons you all ignore? Well, I have a friend who got pulled over for something minor. The cops ran his plates and a warrant popped up. Cop apologized while arresting him. Okay, that's the last one.
Okay.
But yeah, it could be something like skipping jury duty.
Man, what kind of fine do you get, or what kind of charge do you get for skipping it?
I don't know, but I imagine it's a lot.
Damn, really?
I don't know. Yeah, because that they could. I mean, that's a pretty severe thing. They could throw your ass in jail for that kind of shit.
Jeez, that would suck. Like, what did you get in here for? Didn't want to do jury duty?
Yeah.
Get out of here. Just didn't want to.
Oh, boy. Number 4. When I was in college, a guy called the police to report that his laptop, worth maybe $1,000, had been stolen out of his dorm room. When the police arrived, they confiscated some $3,000 worth of weed from the guy's room and arrested him for possession with intent to distribute.
Oh, my goodness. This is kind of along the same lines.
You couldn't hide your weed when you know that police are coming. Like, you called the police. You literally invited them, and you can't just, like, make sure it's not in plain sight.
Well, I didn't think they would have checked here. Well,
Yeah.
they're the police. They're going to check.
Yeah. Number 5. Kid gets arrested for shoplifting, and the first thing he says to the cop is, "I didn't steal that fucking car this morning." The cops originally had zero reason to suspect this kid stole and crashed a car until he said that. Went from misdemeanor to felony in about 2 minutes.
Damn.
Wow.
So these are all escalations of something else.
Yeah, well, so far, yeah.
Yeah.
Number 6. Well, this one is actually a cop getting arrested, so this is pretty funny. I'm not a cop, but I recently went to a sheriff training center to take the test to become one. One of the other candidates thought it was a good idea to bring nunchucks. Now, by the way, there's a lot of states, including California, where this takes place where nunchucks are illegal.
Why?
I don't know. Nunchucks are also illegal in almost all of Europe. I don't understand it personally.
They're a very impractical weapon.
That's probably why, because they figure people are going to hurt themselves with it. Because
You're
right.
It's a danger to you and others.
Technically speaking, they're not weapons.
No, they're like a farming tool, right?
Exactly, yeah. He decided to whip them out and show them off to some deputies who were posted outside the center. He was arrested. One cop walked in and said, "If you think it's a good idea to bring illegal weapons to the cop test, you may as well not even be here today."
Oh, man.
And you know what's funny is, like, I know there's somebody who, well, maybe he didn't know. Well, he's taking a test to become a cop. You're kind of supposed to know, like, what laws there are in your general area.
Mm-hmm, so failure.
You fail. Number 7, not a cop, but heard a great story from one, though. Officer pulled a girl over doing 15 miles over the 15 plus over the speed limit on the highway. After she got her ticket and was free to go, the girl tore off speeding again and got pulled over by another officer a few miles later. Somehow, she still didn't learn her lesson. The third officer to pull her over that day arrived at her window, nearly crying with laughter, saying, "You do know we have radios, right?"
Oh, man, she really had to get somewhere.
Yep. Yep. Or she's just stupid.
Just a speed demon.
Yeah, this is just a stupid, careless idiot. I mean, like, personally, I think speeding laws are kind of bullshit, but, I mean, if you got pulled over twice, maybe just, tone it down a little.
Aren't there some European countries or whatever that there are no speed limits, but, like, the driving is still okay?
Certain parts of Germany don't have speed limits at all. So, yeah.
I would feel worried going on one of those, but I'd probably be okay.
I knew this German girl in college, and beautiful girl. That's relevant, by the way.
Okay.
And she would get pulled over for speeding, and the cop would say, you're going this amount of speed, and she would just, give him the pouty face. "I'm sorry, in Germany we don't have speed limits," and just, bat her eyes. Never got a ticket. Not even. I mean, this girl was beautiful.
Using her assets then.
Oh yes, she knew exactly what she was doing. She told me, this is unrelated to this, but she told me a funny story about shampoo commercials.
Okay.
She said, this was back when remember the herbal essences commercials with, like, the chicks, like, practically coming because they're walking.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
that was like, they were so popular. Those commercials are constantly going. Yeah. And she says she was, she was fairly new to being in America, and she came over here, and the first time she saw one of these commercials, she was shocked at what she was seeing, because in Germany, the women in the shampoo commercials are all fully naked. They have, the tits out and everything, and then it's like, and she wasn't shocked at the sexual moaning. She was shocked at how tame it was.
Yeah, they're always, back shots.
She says, in Germany, I've never seen a shampoo commercial without at least 3 naked women in it.
I gotta watch more of your German TV.
Yeah, right. I think in England too, like after, like, I think it's like 9 p.m. they can show tits on TV.
Damn, man.
Yeah.
BBC One, tune in.
Number 8. Not an officer, but my ex-boss's son got arrested. He didn't have a license because of a prior driving under the influence of drugs conviction and was on his way to college in Colorado. He was still in Kansas, and his mother, who had sworn to the boss she would not let him drive, got tired and let him drive. So he goes too fast, he gets pulled over. No license? Well, that's trouble. The cop asks permission to search the vehicle, and they find pot. He was in an area where simple possession was still a misdemeanor, so still not too bad. Then the cop asks him about his pot use, and the brain-dead kid says, "Oh, officer, I don't smoke it. I just have it so I could sell it when I get to school if I need money."
Oh, jeez.
Instant felony. Wow. That's amazing to me.
Like you're just digging your own grave.
Oh no, I would never do drugs. I just deal them. Wow.
Yeah, don't get high on your own supply.
And by the way, if you know that you have weed or whatever, and the cop asks for permission to search, why would you ever say yes?
But if you say no, wouldn't that be kind of suspicious?
Of course. But the only thing they could do then is they could get a dog to sniff around the car, and then they could only force a search if the dog, makes some sort of indication that they're smelling something.
Which they probably would.
But that's if the cop wants to go through the trouble of calling in the K-9 unit and then waiting. You know what I mean? That's if they want to go through all that trouble.
Yeah, true.
But I would never, I don't even have anything illegal in my car, but I would never let a cop search my car. Ever.
You never know what they might find.
No, it's not that. It's a matter of, I don't want them going through my shit.
Privacy?
Yeah, it's privacy. That's all it is. And number 9, because a lot of cops, they try to pull this, well, you know, if you don't have anything to hide, right? It's like, oh, fuck you, because, you know, you have the right to say no, but they try and make it seem that if you use that right, then you're automatically a criminal.
Because then they find like a brush and they'll be like, "What's this? What's this? What are you using this for? This for something? You hiding something in this? Like, it's a brush." Dude.
Have you seen my hair?
Yeah.
They ain't finding a brush. No, it's just, you know what it is? My car's a mess. And I know that if it's going to take a long time. So I ain't got time for that shit. Number 9. Military police here. So you know these guys got no chill, as I said earlier.
Not chill.
I was on patrol by myself working a night shift. I got a call on the radio to head to my squadron to pick up a person that would be riding along with me. As I arrived, I noticed that it is the base commander. He wanted to ride along on patrol and get first-hand look at what his enlisted cops had to deal with on a Saturday night in base housing. This sort of thing never happens. You'll have better odds winning the lottery without playing them than for the damn base commander to come out and do this sort of thing. So I pulled up to one of the more famous intersections in the housing area for people running the stop sign. We're sitting in the car making small talk when he sports a car that didn't make a complete stop. He tells me to stop him and find out what the deal is. He approaches the car with me and we begin to talk to the driver. Instantly I smell alcohol emitting from his breath. I begin to say to myself, this guy is the unluckiest man in the military right now to get pulled over by the base commander while driving drunk. After conducting the standardized field sobriety tests on him and seeing how badly he did on them, he begins to break down emotionally. The base commander gets on the phone with this guy's squadron commander to include everyone in his chain of command and have them meet with him in his office in about 30 minutes. I'm putting the cuffs on this guy with another patrol as my backup when the suspect turns to us and tells us that he was set to retire the following month after 24 years of service.
Oh, no.
And you had to drive drunk a month before. Holy fucking shit, right?
I just got 1 month till retirement.
Yeah, right. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
Too old for this shit. I'm going to be watching those again soon, so.
Lethal Weapons?
Yeah, it's part of the May feature. So you guys are finding out a little bit about what series I have planned.
Ew.
Number 10, working in a prison. I met a complete idiot who was in for arson and attempted murder. This guy was gay and had been living with his new boyfriend. He also had some mental issues and he smoked a lot of weed, which would make him paranoid. He became convinced that his boyfriend was having an affair with a guy who lived in the apartment across the hall. And one day he was home alone and thought he could hear them having a conversation in there. He broke in, found that the guy had just left the TV on. But because he was already in, he thought he'd trash the guy's apartment anyway. He made a mess of the place, then turned the gas on, lined up a bunch of gas canisters, and lit a small fire in the dining room. It's like, well, I broke in to catch him with my boyfriend, and the guy's not even home. But you know what? Let's explode the place.
Yeah, let's just blow everything up.
You can't blame weed on it. This guy's crazy.
Yeah, this is more than weed.
The fire alarms went off, the building was evacuated, and the guy went outside with everyone else to wait for the firefighters to turn up. He tried to light a cigarette, but realized that he had left his lighter back upstairs, so he went back inside to get it. He made it to his floor just as the apartment exploded and one of the gas canisters that he'd left in there flew through the door and hit him in the head. Luckily, he'd done a shitty job of trying to cause an explosion. Most of the damage was to his own apartment through a shared wall, and the only person who managed to injure was himself. His boyfriend was at work, and the guy across the hall wasn't even gay.
Huh. Oh, man, this guy just had it all wrong.
What a dork. Man. This is an incredibly short one. Number 11, not an officer, but a lawyer I know's client was arrested for sneaking on a military base for Pokemon Go. Now, I have a very, very close friend of mine who is former military, and her husband is active military, and so she lives on a military base and has for quite some time, and she is a big fan of Nintendo and loves Pokemon, and I could tell you, there ain't no Pokemon on military bases.
They what?
There ain't no Pokemon on military bases. They
Oh,
don't spawn there.
Oh, okay.
She says there are Pokestops, there are gyms, but there are no Pokemon, and it kind of pisses her off because, you know.
That'd make the game pretty difficult.
Yeah, it does. Unless she literally wants to play only with incense and lures, which would cost money.
Mm-hmm.
So she can't really play it, which is upsetting because she has 2 kids who want to play it with her. So
Well, they can play the 3DS games.
they're a little too young for that. They're getting there though, getting there. It's sort of like my nephew, like Bobby. Like he saw me playing one of the DS games,
Mm-hmm.
sat in my lap and watched me, and then I don't know if I told you this, but I got both my nephews a 3DS for Christmas.
Oh, nice.
Well, I gave them my old 3DS is what I did.
Okay.
I wiped all of my stuff off there, and I downloaded some games on there, and I gave it to them. And one of them was Pokemon Art Academy, and I also got them like Super Mario Brothers 3, shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Bobby looks at me, and he goes, "How come you didn't get me this game?" Because he wants to play a real Pokemon game, and I'm like, "Buddy, you need to read for this."
Mm-hmm. Once you
And
get...
I promised him once he learns to read and do a little bit of math, I will get him one of the real, like, hardcore Pokemon games. But for now, he's going to have to stick with the coloring book game. Which actually I was a little disappointed because I was setting it up for him at Christmas Day, and it had a little more reading than I thought it would.
Oh.
I'm going to show him, like, what buttons to press to get to the coloring book aspect of it.
He'll get it.
Yeah, well, he's learning, so, Number 12, my dad was a police officer, and one of my favorite stories of his was when he was chasing a guy who ditched his car and took off during a traffic stop. The guy ran about 1 block, jumped over a concrete barrier, and dropped. It was a good 20-foot fall down to the freeway, and the guy broke his leg. He's lucky that's all he broke. My dad ran over and looked down at the guy, crawled to the middle, climbed/rolled over between the concrete barriers blocking the 2 directions. He called down, "That's a good spot. Just hang out there." And radioed for his partner to bring the car around. Overall, the guy was fine, but my dad said he lived in the area and either panicked and forgot where he was, or he knew he was jumping that far and he thought he would make it.
It's like you jump over and surprise! Ah!
I imagine the Wilhelm scream happens.
Oh.
Number 13, my family is good friends with a local sheriff. He's told me a story where an officer pulled over a man who was quite obviously under the influence. When he went to the car to talk to the man, he noticed him making a stabbing motion towards his leg. The man had stabbed himself with a screwdriver and tried to say that he'd been stabbed at a bar and was heading to the emergency room. He was heading out of town in the direction where the next hospital or clinic was about 45 minutes away, and that's why his driving was wonky. If he'd been caught with another DUI, he'd have lost his license. He ended up losing his license anyways and had a lot of hospital bills to pay.
Oh, man.
That's the kind of mind that you would only have when you're drunk. Like, oh, I better stab myself.
If I stab myself, they'll have to believe it's that.
Yeah, I do. Wow. Number 14. We've had several over the years who have broken into a house or car and then left on foot following a snowstorm. No need for a canine to track them down.
Yeah, right.
Just follow the fucking tracks. Also had a guy who shoplifted, and he knew we were looking for him in the mall. We found him hiding in a store, and also found the weed he tried to hide in the pocket of a jacket near where he was hiding. He denied the weed being his until I opened up the paper it was crumpled up in. It was his bond paperwork from the day before when he had been arrested for shoplifting.
Oh, jeez.
I took him back in front of the same judge who had released him so he could be arraigned on the new charges. She was not happy with him and revoked his prior bond. Also had a guy dine and dash, but left his wallet with ID on the table.
Just in case.
Well, yeah. Oops.
Oops, a big time.
Yeah. Finally, number 15, I'm one of 2 civilian employees at a police department. We got our regulars, and this guy is one of them. Recently, he got out of jail and decided he was going to go visit his girlfriend the same day. The only problem is she had a no-contact order against him. She calls the police, and they come to pick him up. He also had some other illegal things on him, so he got taken straight back to jail. He'd only been out for a few hours. But wait, there's more! So his girlfriend has a no-contact order against him, which isn't like a restraining order where you can't go within a certain distance of them. It's literally no contacting them. Well, this smart guy decides he really wants to talk to his girlfriend, so he called her from jail 3 times. She called the police again, and they went back to the jail and added more charges. Violation of a protective order ×4. He was smart enough to violate a protective order while he was in jail. At least he was in the right place.
Man, I've heard of hopeless romantic, but this dude's just hopeless.
That's like hurting yourself while you're already at a hospital, right?
Yeah.
Well, not a hopeless romantic. Sounds more like a stalker. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know the story behind it, but I assume if she has a protective order against him, there's probably a reason.
Yeah, keep this guy away.
Yeah. Out of 15, what say you?
15, you know?
I'm going to say 13 on this one.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. It just seems like the right number. Okay.
I liked all of them.
This one is, it's sort of on a similar note, but not as severe. It's 15 frustrated managers share the stupidest thing that an employee did, causing them to get fired.
Oh, boy.
Work at a Walmart. Have you ever seen somebody get fired for doing something like incredibly stupid?
I've never seen anybody get fired yet.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah?
Y'all got it locked down. Y'all doing your jobs then.
Well, I've heard of people having been fired, but I've never seen it.
Yeah. So the people you work with are doing a good job, in other words.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Why are these all on the wrong page? I think I was clicking around like an idiot.
Oops.
Okay. Number 1. During my first real dev job, the company I was working for tried to implement a bunch of things to improve efficiency and employee satisfaction. 2 interesting programs they implemented were work from home and agile development, along with the requisite bullpens, shared team areas. What this basically meant is that we only had to show up in the office for core hours, 4 hours, 3 days a week, and the rest of the time we could work in shared areas, restaurants, parks, home, you name it. Sometimes, if you couldn't be at core hours, you could just dial in. We were young and excited and dedicated, so the core team really got a lot of good work done with this model. About 2 weeks after we started, our Scrum Master... What the hell is a Scrum Master?
Scrum? That sounds like a...
It sounds like a position in Quidditch.
Or not Quidditch, but what's that one that's football, but it's not football? Rugby.
Rugby? Yeah, it does sound like it. I gotta Google what a Scrum Master is. Because that's it. I'm enjoying this, and like you throw some jargon at me, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. So okay, sorry, I'm copy pasting here. Scrum Master. It's spelled exactly like you would expect it to.
Scrum.
Scrum Master is the facilitator for an agile development team. Scrum is a methodology that allows a team to self-organize and make changes quickly in accordance with agile principles. So basically the manager of a loose network kind of situation. Like they're the supervisor, but they're kind of hands-off is what it sounds like.
So, but why Scrum, of all things?
I have no idea. Maybe it's like a acronym or something.
Maybe.
Okay, after 2 weeks we started, our Scrum Master casually mentioned, has anyone seen Phil? Phil was a quiet guy, and he was still answering emails and instant messages, so it took us a while to agree that no one had actually seen him in a long time. She called him from the speakerphone in the bullpen, and, as God is my witness, here is the call that took place. Hey, Phil, what's up? Hey, boss, not much. What's up with you? Hey, we were just noticing we hadn't seen you much lately. You ever coming in for core hours? Probably not. Oh, why is that? Because I moved to Idaho?
What?
Phil, we're in D.C. I know. Why didn't you tell us you wanted to move to Idaho? Oh, because I knew you wouldn't let me. What a knob!
Oh my God!
You know, it's probably, you know what's said is it probably if he went and said, hey, look, I'm moving to Idaho, but I really like this job. Could I work remotely from there? They probably would have accommodated that.
Probably, like if he was good enough, maybe.
Yeah, like maybe for core hours he could have Skyped in or something, you know? Oh my God. Number 2. Offered a job to a candidate but had to step out of the office to grab some paperwork. Came back and a bus pass that was on the desk was missing. Newly hired employee stole it. I asked him to return it because a previous candidate dropped it, and he said he needed it more than they did and walked out. Apparently
And
he
he got
didn't.
fired.
Well, he didn't get the job. Apparently he didn't need the job as much as the previous candidate, though.
I bet.
Wouldn't it have been great if they hired the other guy whose bus pass got stolen?
Oh, that would have been...
It doesn't say, but
yeah.
that's the way I want to imagine it going down. Number
That'll
3.
be on a poetic justice list.
Yeah. I used to work at a popular coffee chain, and we had this supervisor who was an actor in all those local community theater things and wanted to get into stand-up comedy. Well, if somebody was funny, he obviously got ticked off that he wasn't the one in the limelight. A new guy was hired who was really funny, and supervisor was always being a dick to him, giving him the shittiest jobs and picking on him. One night, supervisor was being a complete asshole, and a bunch of us pipe in to tell him to chill out, and he's being a dick. Something snapped. The supervisor absolutely lost it, went into the back room and grabbed a bunch of frozen donuts and just came out and was throwing them at Funny Guy angrily and just swearing at him and berating him. Then he just walked out the back door and walked off down the street. We all thought he quit on the spot, but he just went to smoke a cigarette and came back 10 minutes later. By that point, someone called the manager and she came in and canned him on the spot, and he broke down crying in what had to be the most pathetic, snot-ridden scene that I'd ever witnessed. Awesome.
Oh, man.
That is poetic justice, though, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That one is really, that could have been on both lists.
You know, there can be more than one funny guy in the office.
Yeah, right? Shit. You know what? The guy probably wasn't that funny, and that's why he was probably so insecure.
Right? Maybe he's one of those people that says, I'm the funniest in the whole
I'm
place.
the funny man here, and he's probably not. He's probably like Carlos Mencia level, you know?
No, stealing everything, including jokes.
Mencia sucks. Number 4, this is an extremely short one. I had an employee lock another employee in a closet one time. The person that was trapped called the police from inside the closet. It was quite an HR nightmare.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Let me tell you something. I had a situation like that unfold at a job. I had an office job, and
What?
we had this one supervisor. His name is Lou. Lou. I have plenty of Lou stories. This is just one of the Lou stories.
Lou, like a toilet.
Well, no, like short for Lewis.
I know, but...
Okay, quick vignette. One time, I showed up without my ID badge, and whenever you show up without your ID badge, the security people would just give you like a temporary one for the day, and you would sign in, and you would sign your name, and you're supposed to put like the name of like whoever your supervisor was. And normally I would just put the head manager, but that time I decided to put Lou's name, but I didn't know his last name, so I wrote Safer.
Ha-ha! Lucifer.
Yeah. So I didn't think much of it until very close to the end of shift. My boss's boss comes up to me and asks me to stop by the office before I leave.
Oh, no.
I go in there, and the guy is, he very vague. He goes, "What happened this morning?" And I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It's like 8 hours ago. I forgot, and he's being vague. I don't know what he's talking about. And I'm like, huh? And he goes, "This morning, what happened?" I'm like, huh? And he says, what'd you write on the sheet? And I'm like, oh, fuck, I didn't think anybody would see that, Joel. And he goes, "It's really, really funny, but please don't do it again."
Ah.
I said, okay, no problem. Because I thought nobody would see it, because he said that apparently he got a call from HR asking them who Lucifer was.
Oh, no.
Because they thought that I was being serious, and that like, who is this employee? We don't have record of a Lucifer.
A Lou Cipher.
Lou Cipher. That's basically how I wrote it, Lou Cipher.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, this girl locked Lou in a closet. Except it didn't have a lock.
Oh.
So she had to put herself against the door to keep him in there. And it was all in good fun, right?
I guess.
It wasn't a serious thing. She was just fucking with him. But, okay, I just got to point out, she's black, he's white.
Okay.
And he starts, you know, "Oh, come on, let me out." And, "No, you gotta stay in there for a while." And "Oh, come, you know, there ain't no watermelon in here. Ain't no fried chicken in here." And I hear this because I'm right by, and I go, "Oh, hell no," because he's like pushing against the door, trying to get out, and he's probably stronger than her, so she, you know, she's trying. So I lean myself against the door, and I go, "Ain't no cheese crackers out here, though."
Nice.
Yeah. What an asshole. I hated him.
Oh.
You know what's funny is it's not like he was an asshole. He was just kind of douchey. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't
a bit of a racist.
More than a bit if he's talking about watermelon and fried chicken directly to a black person.
And not to knock those are delicious.
I'm not really a fan of watermelon.
No.
Too sweet for my taste.
Huh.
Too sweet for my taste. Anyway, yeah, number 5. New guy around 20 years old or so called in sick saying he thinks he had a stroke.
Oof, I think I had a stroke.
Since he lived across the street from the store where we worked, we all then stood and watched through the store's glass door as he packed up his truck with beach gear and drove off with his girlfriend. Fired the next day.
Beautiful.
You know, if
Simple, but sweet.
you're gonna lie, don't go quite so large. You know what I mean?
Well,
Because imagine if they didn't see him do that and he showed up like the next day, like, hey guys, like, so how's your stroke? You know what I mean?
They cured it.
Yeah, it turns out that I'm an idiot. Yeah, like, how would you react to that? Stroke, really? You couldn't just say you had a cold?
I mean, I know they say, sometimes if you lie really big, it's easier to believe, but sometimes no.
Okay, you know who said that? Hitler.
Yeah, I was wondering where I heard that.
Yeah. Number 6, not me, but a friend of mine had to fire a sales clerk because she stole a computer duster from the office and left the sales floor during her shift to hide in the supply closet and get high with it.
You can do that? Oh.
Kids, they call it whippet. It's
whippets.
Yeah, it's where they're inhaling the nitrous that is the propellant inside the aerosol can.
Yeah, like what they do with whipped cream.
Yeah, well, that's why it's called whippet, because it was first discovered whipped cream. You can do it with really any aerosol can. It is a great and fantastic way to get brain damage.
I can imagine, my God.
Number 7. This one's insane. I can't believe this. I used to manage a car window tint shop. We hire some young high school kid to help us clean up, grab supplies, refill inventory, basically whatever we didn't want to do. Kid was a self-proclaimed DJ. Knowing he had school and his shows, I told him to give me a heads up when he couldn't make it. We didn't really need him, so he could take off as much as he wanted, and we didn't care, just an extra hand. A day or two every week he wouldn't show up, won't answer any texts or calls, and then show up like nothing happened. He would post these shows all over social media, so I would text him and ask him if he's coming in. I would get tags about coming to this party and events tonight, so I would reply asking if he was calling out. Still no answer, but will come in after missing work saying how much he needed this job and he has a baby on the way. Last straw was leaving mid-shift without a word and while attending the front because he had a show to prepare for. Waited till he showed up again to let him know we didn't need him anymore, and he nearly cried, begging us for a second chance. Too long didn't read. Kid with unlimited call-outs refused to call out even when asked directly if he needed to call out. Surprised when he was fired after missing nearly a third of his shifts.
Oh, so he just didn't bother to call in.
Even though they were like, hey, you could totally call out whenever you need to.
Yeah, like
and we're
the
cool.
job isn't necessary.
You know, how lucky do you have to be to find a job where they are that fucking chill and then to fuck it up anyway?
Yeah, all because he's going to become a DJ and has a baby on the way.
Yeah. And by the way, I wanted to mention the guy was still in high school.
Yeah.
Number 8. I was assistant manager at a restaurant for a while, and one of the newer bussers had called in 3 times in his first 2 weeks. He called in on Saturday telling me he was deathly sick and couldn't even get out of bed. Around 9 p.m., after the dinner rush, one of my servers asks me to go check on table 42. I turn the corner, and there is the sick busser stoned out of his mind with 2 buddies eating. At least,
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, he went to the restaurant that he had called out from work from to eat.
There's a million restaurants, dude.
I mean, I would normally say, well, why don't you at least go somewhere else? But the guy was stoned. He didn't know what the hell was going on, I guess.
Maybe he gets a percentage off for working there.
Yeah, but wow. Yeah, he don't work there no more.
Yeah, no more percentage. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, hold on just one second, because Tanya posted something in the work group, and I have to see if it's important. Oh, okay. Actually, I'm aware of that already. Number 9.
9.
Every day at lunch, she would drink roughly half of her Jimmy John's or whatever soda and then take it with her into the bathroom to fill it back up with whiskey. She did a pretty good job covering up the smell, and since she did it from day one, it wasn't immediately obvious that she was getting drunk. Found out on day 4 when she knocked her full cup over and we all got punched with the smell of booze in the afternoon. I mean,
have you ever had Jimmy John's soda? I've never even heard of it.
Never even heard of it until now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, unfortunately, I do have a story kind of similar to that of a girl that works at the same place that I work at, the healthcare place.
Oh, no.
That got fired for something really stupidly ridiculous like that. She was part of a group to take a bunch of the clients out to a concert, and apparently had snuck some booze into a water bottle, like it was like vodka in a water bottle, and got busted when one of the other employees, or one of her coworkers, picked up the bottle by mistake, thinking it was theirs, and went to take a sip and smell the booze. So here's the crazy thing. Probably would have let her get away with it, except this person then wanted to drive one of the vans home.
No.
She wanted to drive. So they're like, you need to give me the car keys right now. And she's like, no, I'm fine. Like, no, you've been drinking. You need to, you are not driving these clients. You need to, you know how many of them are brain injured because of either being drunk drivers or being hit by drunk drivers?
Yeah, like she could have ended up a client. That would have been...
Or dead.
Great. Or, yeah.
Or gotten one of them hurt or killed. So, you know, like...
Too many things.
The kind of like drinking at a concert. I mean, we're working, but she might have gotten away with that with like a write-up or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then attempting to drive and refusing to give up the key, that... No.
Because a lot of people suddenly feel like they're, no, you know, I'm the exception to the rule. I can drive.
Look, man, I caught someone sleeping on the job the other day.
Oh.
I don't really want to tell that story because it's so recent, but yeah, I walked in and the bitch was dead ass asleep.
Damn.
Yeah. So.
You can't catch Z's.
Definitely not. Isn't the most basic requirement of any job to at least be conscious during
Yeah.
that you're there? I mean, I can't think of any job where you could sleep.
Well, actually, there are some like stay over.
Yeah, but
like overnight.
but that's not time that you're getting paid for. You know, you're talking about
actually
like,
it can be.
Yeah, but usually if they're on a salary, you're talking about like live-in maids or caretakers, that kind of thing.
Caretakers, yeah.
Yeah, live-in caretaker. That does exist, but during the time that you're supposed to be working with a client, I can't imagine a job that'd be like, yeah, go ahead, take a nap, it's cool.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Number 10, back in my days working at a used car dealership, we had a teen come in and test drive a 1,500-mile Corvette. Today's equivalent would be the ZR1. Anyway, the kid drives it around our set loop once, and is being a little waffly on if he wants to get it or not. He says it doesn't really drive as well as he thought it would. My salesman told him it was user error and that he'd prove it to him. They went out for another loop around with the employee driving it. He managed to get pulled over doing 135 miles per hour in a school zone.
Oh.
By the way, I know that you're metric, but just to give you the example between the difference, 135 miles per hour, the average speed limit in a school zone is 15.
Wow. Wait. Wow.
So that's significantly horrible. Got arrested, if I recall correctly. Needless to say, he was not welcome back at our store. However, the teen did buy the car.
Probably from the thrill. Holy shit.
Yeah. Too bad that guy didn't get the sale, right?
Oh, no.
Number 11. Boss had a fire lady in our office. Oh, let me tell you, I read this one last night, and I was flabbergasted by this. This is amazing. Boss had a fire lady in her office because she lost her marbles when somebody ate her bagel from the fridge. She literally had a tantrum like a toddler. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's bullshit that somebody ate her food, right? She has the right to be upset. But wait, there's more. The girl who ate it by mistake. She thought it was a bagel from the office breakfast we had earlier that same morning. It was in the same packaging as the office stuff. Now, I absolutely hate it when people eat my lunch, but the girl who ate the bagel profusely apologized, even stated that she would go and buy her a new one right on the spot, but Tantrum Lady couldn't let it go, so that ended up being her last night.
Oh my God, that's so stupid. You got fired for such a stupid thing.
I can understand being upset, but once like the person first of all, like people who like do that kind of shit on purpose don't come forward and admit that it was them.
Yeah.
You know, so for her to come forward, come clean and be like, I ate it by mistake. I thought it was, you know, like one of the bagels that was for everyone. I'm so sorry. I'll get you another bagel. I'll replace it right now. And you're still gonna, you know, act like a child?
Yeah, no, it's the principal. The thing.
Like, why can't you just do what everyone else does and send a passive-aggressive email to the whole office?
Yeah, so somebody apparently
It would be
decided
nice if people would not eat my food.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Could you just not?
Number 12. Managed a long-term care facility. Got a call one night from a resident telling me that the new nighttime worker was acting weird. This was about midnight. The shift started at 11. I called my lead. There were 3 people on duty and asked how the night was going. She told me that, yeah, Sally was sick. I put on my shoes and headed in. Now, having the administrator show up at almost 1 a.m. is never a good thing, so I'm pretty sure all 3 of them felt scared when I first showed up. I took one look at Sally, leaning against the wall, and asked her to come to my office. I asked her if she had been drinking. I never drink at work, she slurred at me. I told her that I had to have her blow into this tube. We had breathalyzer tubes that registered if they were over a specific level. The crystals changed from clear to dark blue if the alcohol registered over the legal limit. No surprise, turned dark blue.
Bam.
I asked her again if she had been drinking. She admitted to have been drinking earlier in the evening. She and her friend had been doing shots up until about 10 p.m., but I'm not drunk. I stopped and ate almost 2 hours ago, so it's all out of my system. Nope, doesn't work that way. Sorry, Sally, but I need to let you go. Call someone to come get you, I told her as I was filling out paperwork for the breathalyzer usage and final check request. Oh, that's okay. I drove in.
Oh,
what? Nope. She then asked what time she should come in tomorrow.
1:30 never.
Sally, you no longer work here. Coming to work intoxicated is not tolerated. Oh, really? Yes, really. Please call someone who has not been drinking to come and get you. She called about 16 hours later asking me for her next week's schedule.
But I never drink at work.
She didn't remember being at work and getting fired.
Oh, no.
I mean, she was really drunk.
That is just out of there, man. She is in space.
That's amazing, man. Once again, I can't think of a job that's like, yeah, you could totally be blackout drunk.
And drive.
Yeah, and drive, yeah, too. Yeah. Wow. Number 13. Hired a girl to work at a bagel store who on her first day told me she couldn't touch any of the meats because she was vegan. No, it doesn't work like that, honey, no.
That's dumb. That's just dumb. That's being dumb.
You can, oh God, you can touch meat. It's not the same as eating. Good Lord.
Even people who eat meat will wash their hands after touching meat.
Yeah, before and after, I would hope.
Yeah.
Had another guy show up to work his first day, was doing just fine, seemed to be good with the job. I went to the office to get some paperwork for him to fill out, and he was just gone. Never came back, didn't steal anything, no explanation at all.
Just disappeared like Sandman into the wind.
The bad one was I had to fire a girl for not showing up for several days in a row. Saw in a newspaper the next week that she had been in jail the whole time because she had locked her kids in a closet while she was buying Coke.
Oh my God!
I assume they don't mean the soda.
Yeah.
Okay, number 14. These last few have been crazy. We kept finding stock discrepancy. Oh, this is good. We kept finding stock discrepancies. We couldn't figure out for a while what was happening. The count on certain items was out. System said we had stuff that wasn't on the shelf. Eventually found that when a customer bought something with cash, later that same day, that cashier would refund the transaction for cash with no customer around.
Huh?
So essentially, they're stealing money from the register, but
Yeah.
they're processing it as a refund, so that the register doesn't show as being off.
So they're just like refunding the money
So
to themselves.
Yeah. So in other words, they probably got away with it for a while. They were fired on the spot, but couldn't be charged criminally because the way the camera sat, they'd been able to block the view of the cash drawer with their body, and you couldn't actually see them take the money out of the till. Even though we knew exactly when the false transactions were posted, footage placed them right there doing something and intentionally blocking the view at that same time. There's only one way everything added up, but they still got away with it. If they'd just been pulling cash out, we wouldn't have caught it right away, but the counts were never out because there was a transaction in the system, so they'd been doing this occasionally for a couple of months. We figured they probably got away with a couple of grand.
Oh, man. Maybe that's why casinos have so many cameras, so they can get that good angle.
Oh, yeah, because people that cheat, they find new ways all the time, you know?
But damn, a couple grand before getting caught.
Number 15 this is the last one. My manager had to fire someone for doing cocaine in the toilets, then trying to gouge his own eyes out. I guess that's what working at a call center can do to someone.
Holy, would they use a melon baller? Glue.
I want to imagine they just try to dig their eyes out with their hands.
Why?
That's what I want to imagine. Out of 15, what say you?
I give it a 15. That was wild. It just escalated.
As do I.
I'm giving so many of these perfect scores because they're all just out of control.
Yeah, I picked out some good ones. Anyway, I'd love to continue, but we've been going for a long time, actually.
Oh, yeah?
At 3.5 hours. I think that's long enough.
Good gravy.
I just looked at the clock. It's afternoon, and I need to get to bed, so...
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So that's the show. We will be doing list critics soon. Please send me some lists. This time I'll actually have time to get some lists.
Next time we'll do more
or submitted lists. I mean, because I pretty much, I have some that I could have done, but
yeah.
Some of these, like I'm trying to not do the really boring ones. All right, I'm just going to give the example so that you guys know what I'm talking about because it's kind of painful. I don't really, hear what your top 6 versions of Scooby-Doo.
What?
Because you know how, Scooby-Doo, has a new show, pretty much every year?
Oh, yeah.
Man, come on.
Top 10 accountants in Maine.
And it's from a guy who sends a lot of lists to do with cartoons and animation, and I usually think they're very good, but that particular one, it's not even numbered, so it's and it's a top 6 that has 1, 2, 3, 4, has 7 on there, so it's a mess, I can visually see that it's more than 6, I counted 7, so it's please just, or you could send lists that you found or whatever, but yeah, we'll see you guys in February, and I just realized, man, we had to bang out List Critics and List Critics during the last month of January, and then we're heading into the shortest month.
We'll get it done, don't you worry, folks.
We'll get it done, yeah. All right, thank you guys for being a part of it.
And hope 2017 is awesome.
So far, not so much.
We'll see.
So far, not so much. But you know what? If you guys have a good year, let me know. I want to hear something positive because Lord knows I could
make it happen.
Yeah, Lord knows we could use a little positivity, right?
Make it happen, people.
Make it happen. I'm vamping because I'm trying to find my recording software. Okay, there we go. See you guys.
Bye-bye.